We are live. How's it going, people? Let's wait for a few people to show up in the chat and we'll see what's going on. Okay, where are we at? Yeah, let's wait for a few people to come in. And we're definitely live. Yeah, we're definitely live. Good. Decent weekend of boxing coming up. Starting tomorrow, you've got Tevin Farmer versus John O'Carroll. Selecki versus Rosado. You know, there's a couple of fights tomorrow to look out for. And obviously on Saturday, we've got Spence versus Garcia. And on Sunday, there's a couple of fights as well. I think it's Michael Conlon, and also Louis Collazo is fighting as well on Sunday. For those who care. But yeah, Spence Garcia is getting all of the attention this weekend. There is 3 people watching. Okay, let's have a drink. Let's close some of these tabs. Okay, there we go. Just wait for a few people to come in. Just seeing what other fights are on tomorrow's card. I think it's really just Tevin Farmer versus John O'Carroll and Rosado. I think Rosado tomorrow's getting beaten up, to be honest. I think Selecki is going to outbox Rosado. I think hopefully if Rosado wins, hopefully he fights Demetrius Andrade. I think that'd be a good fight. I think Selecki would be a good test for Andrade at middleweight, to be honest. I mean, arguably, you could make the argument that it would be his best opponent to date. Yeah, and yeah, John O'Carroll versus Tevin Farmer. I don't think John O'Carroll has much of a chance tomorrow, to be honest. I think Tevin Farmer should win that fight comfortably. Not that I rate like Tevin Farmer super highly, but he's better than John O'Carroll, as far as I'm concerned. And I felt Tevin Farmer lost his... No, not Tevin Farmer. I felt John O'Carroll lost his last fight to Frenoir. I'm good, Hashman. How are you? Looking forward to the fights this weekend? The thing that disappoints me with this weekend's boxing is the undercard for Spence Garcia. Could be a bit stronger. Although we do get to see Charles Martin back, so that's always a bonus. Must-see TV. Boxing brains. Nah. I don't think John O'Carroll is that good. I think he's like a good domestic fighter, but above that level, you know, I think he's always going to come unstuck. I think Tevin Farmer, he should take care of Carroll quite easily. And like I said, I don't really rate Carroll that... Sorry, I don't rate Tevin Farmer that highly, but he should have more than enough to take care of John O'Carroll. But yeah, the Matchroom card tomorrow is not too good, to be honest. It's okay. I'll record it, but, you know, it's not a great card. Exactly, I walk this earth like a god. Prince Charles Martin, he's back. He's fighting an undefeated heavyweight who I've never really heard of, Gregory Corbin, 15-0. Sounds good, but, he's 38 years old, so how good is he? I've heard some people say Gregory Corbin can actually box a bit, and he could give Charles Martin problems. But, when you're 38 years old, 15-0, and you've not beaten anybody, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Charles Martin will have enough. And you've got Chris Arreola on the undercard as well. We really are being treated. That's an amazing addition. New Day says Duck Squad. Yeah, I heard the news about Deontay Wilder. Reports are indicating that he's rejected that DAZN deal. If that's true, listen, man, I don't even know what to say. To be quite honest, I don't even know what to say. If he turns down that type of money and the Joshua fight was included, listen, I've not even got the energy to talk about Wilder or Joshua, to be honest. JT, Fury versus Oscar Rivas. I've heard that rumor. I don't think it's the worst first fight for Fury on ESPN. Rivas is coming off a decent win over Bryant Jennings. Rivas can punch a bit, but I think Rivas is made to order for Tyson Fury. Rivas, his feet are fairly slow. He's fairly predictable coming forwards. He comes forwards in straight lines. He's only a small heavyweight as well. He's about 6 foot. I think Tyson should outbox Oscar Rivas, to be honest, and maybe even get a late stoppage through accumulation and when Rivas gasses, because Rivas has gassed in certain fights in the past. And yeah, stylistically, I just think it's a good fight for Tyson Fury. But Rivas can punch, and he does have decent hand speed early on with good explosive power. So it's an okay comeback. It's an okay first fight on ESPN, but I don't think it's that intriguing, to be honest. Fury versus Pulev. I think that's a bit better than Rivas. I know stylistically that could be an ugly fight, but I think Pulev is more credible than Rivas at this stage, to be honest. But I do think Fury versus Pulev would be a very ugly fight. Not pleasant on the eye. A lot of fencing. Pulev's going to be doing his thing with his jab. Fury's going to be dancing around, feinting. It's going to be a low volume fight. Fury versus Pulev. And yeah, Fury should easily, well, not, I wouldn't say easily, but he should decisively beat Pulev, to be honest. Yeah, Charles Martin, I wouldn't put any money on Charles Martin. No way, Jose. I'm good, John. How you doing? New Day, he says, I thought Fury would have taken the AJ fight and then retire undefeated, possibly, if he won. Yeah, you just don't know how to take Fury, to be honest. Yeah, I saw that Wilder is terrified of AJ. If that's true, if he's rejected that deal and, Joshua was part of that deal, then how can you excuse it? I just don't get it, man. I mean, the thing I've noticed from watching these heavyweights and watching the fans, Deontay Wilder, I believe, is held to lesser standards than Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. He doesn't really get criticised, for taking lesser opposition. He doesn't get criticised for contradicting himself. He doesn't, everything, like, with Fury and Joshua, everything they say is examined under like a microscope. Whereas Wilder, he can say anything and get away with it. Nobody criticised Wilder for ducking Vladimir Klitschko. Nobody criticised Wilder when his team said he wouldn't take that fight despite being a champion. The standards have always been lesser for Wilder, and I've accepted that. It's just what it is. But it's tiring to talk about, to be honest. JT, Hughie Fury said he can be world level in an interview. Do you think he can be world level? I don't think so. It depends what you mean as how do you define world level? Do you mean like a top 10 heavyweight? Potentially, but I don't think Hughie Fury is ever going to be a world champion. To be honest, I think Hughie's a good spoiler. I think Hughie has the ability to make anybody look bad, but I don't see Hughie beating the elite level heavyweights, to be honest. I just don't see it. I think Hughie could be a good European level fighter. You know, he beat guys like Rudenko. Rudenko's like a European level operator, in my opinion. I think that's kind of Hughie's ceiling kind of thing. I don't think Fury gets up for anyone below the top three in Klitschko, Wilder, and AJ. You could be right, New Day, because Tyson Fury in the past he has looked lackluster against lesser opposition. You could be right. Wilder is terrified of AJ. He says duck. Yeah, I'll send you a link in a bit, Hashman. Hughie Fury has been unlucky, but he's like a Cuban, too inactive in fights. Yeah, Hughie. Hughie is just too negative. He is horrible to watch. Let's be honest. He's too negative. His output's too low. He doesn't sit on his punches enough. He's not beating any elite level heavyweight in my opinion. As I said, I think Hughie's ceiling is what is European level. Yeah, I've not seen it, JT. I'll watch it in a bit. I'm good, D. How you doing? Rudenko Hughie was more of a draw. I've not seen the fight in ages, to be honest. I'll need to rewatch it, but I don't think I can ever really rewatch a fucking Hughie Fury fight. I felt Rudenko also beat Lucas Brown, to be honest. Rudenko's okay at that level. What's up, ABC? How you doing, bro? Yeah, New Day, Luke Campbell. Yeah, I didn't realise he was on that bill until today. He's fighting Adrien Young. I've seen Adrien Young fight before. I don't know where though. Adrien Young is actually Mexican as well. Don't know what. Yeah, I don't know how he got that name, but he's actually a Mexican. Got a decent record, so maybe he'll give it a go. Yeah, I don't think Mikey's going back down to 135. I think when he loses to Spence, he'll go down to 140. Yeah, Mikey Garcia would destroy Luke Campbell, in John 99's opinion. I think he'd beat Luke Campbell quite handily as well. New Day says Mikey should have vacated. I mean, if he doesn't have any intention of going back down to 135, yeah, I agree. It's not right to hold up the title. I hate it when fighters do that. It's like when Froch, before he retired, he held on to his IBF for a little while when James DeGale was mandatory. And yeah, I don't like it when fighters do that. I don't like it when fighters hold up divisions. Vitali was similar, towards the end of his career. He held that WBC belt for a little while without making a decision. I just don't like that, personally. Let the division move on. Yeah, Rudenko, yeah, I remember that Brown fight. I felt Rudenko beat him fairly handily. Peter Fury is a very overrated trainer. Maybe. I mean, I think Peter, he only really seems to train one type of style. It's a very unique style. I think Peter Fury understands the fight game quite well, but I don't know, man. He's got one world class student under his belt, and that's it. We need to see a bit more, to be honest. I do think he's decent though. ABC says I may sound crazy, but I think Relic has a big chance to beat Regis Prograis. I think he has a shot. Relic is fairly experienced at this point. He's always kind of made a good account of himself at world level, and arguably Relic should be undefeated. He's got a chance, but I'm definitely favouring Prograis. I think Prograis just a little too dynamic, hits a little too hard. He's quick. He's got a lot of variety in his work, and I think Prograis is getting better, to be honest. So yeah, I'm picking Prograis to beat him, but Relic won't go down easily, no doubt about it. He'll give it a go. Or B Zanon, Mikey is winning. Spence is good, but he hasn't fought anybody in their primes. Yeah, you can make the argument, but you know, what's Mikey's best twin? Robert Easter Jr., Salido maybe. I don't think Mikey's fought anybody like Errol Spence. He hasn't fought that type of task, but he's got a massive task ahead of him. And the thing I think people are getting wrong with this Garcia Spence fight is, Errol Spence is a good technician. He's got a good jab, excellent balance, great body puncher. He has a really good understanding of keeping range. Great on the inside, great at mid range, solid skills on the outside. To me, Spence is a very good technician, and I think his skill set going into this fight is being underrated, to be honest. A lot of people are saying all Spence has on Garcia is size. I disagree. I think Spence has a hell of a lot of skill sets that will give Mikey problems regardless, even if they were the same size. So yeah, I think Errol's being underrated going into this fight. As crazy as that sounds. Yeah, New Day. ABC doesn't sound crazy. Relic's a good fighter. Mr. Alvo, who do you think Mikey's best win is before his comeback? Probably, I would say Salido. ABC Def, I think Josh beats all except Hooker. That is a great fight. Hooker is massive. Yeah, Hooker's improving. When Hooker first came on the scene, and when I first saw him, I wasn't that impressed. He just looked like a big lanky guy who was uncoordinated and sloppy. But since he's won that title, I think he's developing. I think he's come on a long way, to be honest. I really enjoyed his fight with Saucedo. That was a good fight. Yeah, I saw the rumours, D. If that's true, it's disappointing, to be honest. If Joshua was included and he's turned that down, then listen, man, it's just hard to kind of even find the energy to talk about it. Yeah, New Day, Darlis Perez, Hooker looked terrible in that fight, and he lost that fight clearly. But to be fair to him, he's come on a long way, and that's the main thing. It's improving, it's learning from those type of experiences. Some fighters would have let that, eat them away and, it would have ruined them. But no, Hooker, he went back to the drawing board and he improved. And you have to respect that. Hooker, he's impressed me in recent months. Yves Ulese is the most slept on fighter after smashing Kalita Seldin. on the Billy Joe Lemieux card. Yeah, I remember that card. He schooled Cletus Seldon. He dropped him a couple of times as well. Now ABC apparently, I heard, I saw some rumors that Wilder's going to turn that offer down. Whether it's true or not, it's not confirmed, but I saw a couple of sources state it. Hopefully, it's not true. John 99, Delboy, as good as Mikey is, do you think his skills are slightly overrated? Some people think he's much more skilled than Spence, but I disagree. No, yeah, I don't think he's much more skilled than Spence at all. In fact, I think Spence is more versatile, to be quite honest. And I know people may think I'm crazy for saying that, but listen, I think certain fighters get overrated, and certain people, jump on bandwagons too quickly. But for whatever reason, I think Spence is the truth. I think he's the goods, and yeah, I think his skill set is being underrated going into this Garcia fight. Yeah, ABC, he is too inactive. Who wins between Hooker and Catterall? I think Hooker. To be honest, I think Hooker wins. Jack Catterall, I felt he beat O'Hara Davis, but he was struggling with the awkward style of Davis, and he was struggling with the reach of Davis. O'Hara Davis has very long arms, and I felt Jack Catterall at times struggled with that. He kind of struggled to, judge the range and get his work off. And Hooker, he's taller, he's rangier, he's more active than O'Hara Davis. I think Hooker beats Jack Catterall, to be honest. And that was 54 Trail Swan who asked about. Yeah, ABC says Hooker KO. I'm not sure whether Hooker KOs him, but I certainly think Hooker beats him right now. What's up, Shepherd of Sons? How you doing? Yeah, D says Spence versus Mikey is a mismatch. Yeah, I tend to agree. The thing is, I keep on hearing so many people give Spence a chance, but they're obviously not putting money down because the odds on Spence ain't moving. So 2018 was shocking for Abel Sanchez, Gassiev, Golovkin, Saucedo, and Martin. Yeah, it wasn't a good year. It wasn't a good year. But sometimes you see trainers have years like that, and all of a sudden, they go from becoming or being the best trainer in the world to overrated. You know, a trainer's only as good as his fighter, and you know, if a fighter loses a fight, the trainer's then crap, according to fans. So it is what it is. I think Abel is a good trainer. Just had a bad year. One of those things. Yeah, Hooker needs to win to feed his eight kids. Yeah, Lewis Hurley, how you doing, bro? Yeah, man, the Hebrew Hammer got ruined that night. It's a shame we've not seen Ulysses since, because he looked fairly He looked fairly decent. Sorry, he looked useful. Yeah, Lewis, that's how I see it. If that's true, yeah, Wilder's lost his mind. The guy's a nutter. John 99, do you see O'Hara Davis ever winning a world title? Worst fighters have won world titles, but unless O'Hara gets like a vacant title against a C-level fighter, I can't really see it. Having said that, I do think O'Hara Davis can become a much better fighter than he is now. He does have a lot of physical attributes. He does have genuine punching power. He's got an awkward style, long arms. I think you can make a good fighter out of O'Hara Davis. I just, I just don't think he has the ability to become a world champion. To be honest. No worries, Lewis. No worries at all. And thank you very much. Unrivaled Boxing Talk. He's here. How you doing, bruv? You good? One second. I'll invite you guys in a bit. Yeah, I get the... Sorry, bloody hell. I need a drink in a minute. Who the hell was that? Oh, fuck off. Put it on silent 1 second. Lewis Hurley. I get the feeling Mikey's style won't translate against opponents who are bigger. Yeah, I agree. I don't think Mikey's power is going to carry up to 147. I don't think it looked the same at 140. And going up another weight class, I just can't see it, to be quite honest. Team Groves, are you excited at all for Spence versus Mikey? I'm looking forward to it, despite it being one-sided. Yeah, that's how I'm kind of feeling. I'm kind of morbidly curious to see how it plays out. And I do like watching Spence fight. I like aggressive fighters who are technically sound and technically sound fighters who go for the knockout. And that's how I see Errol Spence. He's got a style I enjoy watching, and I'm sure I will enjoy Spence knocking out Garcia. To be honest, not that I don't like Garcia. I do like Garcia, but it is what it is. Yeah, I agree, Shepherd of Sons. In hindsight, regardless, Gassiev could have resurrected bloody Angelo Dundee. He was always losing that fight. Warrington Galahad press conference next week, is it? Have they got a date now? Because I heard it was pushed back to June. JT, how far do you think Michael Hunter can make it in the heavyweight division? I think he can break the top 10, to be honest. And I've heard rumours of a fight with Povetkin. I would really enjoy that. I think Povetkin versus Hunter is a tremendous fight. To be honest, I'd love to see that fight. Spence Garcia is Brook versus Golovkin all over again. I agree. Brook Golovkin, Khan Canelo. It's in that ballpark. Yeah, that's true, Lewis. It was 50-50 at the time. Just find where we are on the chat. 1 second. Yeah, I agree, Team Groves. I hope Mikey doesn't try and run and survive when he feels the power. McGregor's not happy. So I'm just kind of lost where I was on the chat. Yep, Usyk versus Takam, Povetkin versus Hunter. I'd love that card. For Quags, how long does Garcia last? I think he'll be done in 7. I think I think he's done well to get past round 6. Hunter's chin is quite good, so I'd pick him to beat Povetkin since he's old and is coming off a KO loss. I think Hunter has a chance against Povetkin, I really do. Way back in the day, Eddie Chambers gave Povetkin problems with his speed. And, I think Hunter can have similar success. And obviously, Povetkin's a lot older now. So maybe, Hunter can beat Povetkin. Sorry, I need to find something in the chat. Where were we? I'm terrible with this old hangout thing. Like an old man. $54 Trail Swan. Spence walks around with a chip on his shoulder, saying everyone's ducking him, but he's doing the exact same thing to Crawford. Yeah, I like Spence. I like his style. He's my favourite welterweight to watch. But I didn't like it when he kind of dismissed Terence Crawford. Whether he's ducking him or not, is open for debate. But, I didn't like how he handled that situation, to be honest. You certainly can't say Crawford's ducking Spence. Yeah, Povetkin's still dangerous. Yeah, I would favour Povetkin. But Hunter has a chance. You good, McGregor? You in?
Yeah, man. What's up?
Good, man. Yeah, man, I'm good. Nearly the end of the week. Weekend of boxing. Yeah, man, I'm good.
Are you excited? Are you excited for the best fight of the weekend?
Do you mean Katie Taylor versus whoever she's fighting?
Actually, I mean Charles Martin versus Corbin, because that's a competitive damn fight, man.
Yeah, listen, I'm low key looking forward to seeing Areola fight as well. I'll be honest.
You were mentioning.
Yeah, exactly. We're 2 days away now, seeing the best Mexican heavyweight of all time fight again.
I mean, is he better? Is he better than Molina?
Yeah. Yeah.
Molina wobbled Wilder, and Areola couldn't beat a one-armed Wilder.
True.
He couldn't even land.
But Areola did knock out Molina early in his career.
Look. This is the YouTube boxing community, right?
Well, you're doing your narrative, innit?
Logic does not belong here.
It's true. It's true.
But yeah.
Who's in the chat? Anybody picking? Do you watch female boxing, McGregor? I've not asked you about that.
I'll be honest with you. I watch it whenever it's on. I don't really follow it as such. Like, I nowhere near got the same amount of knowledge on women's boxing as I have on males boxing.
No, neither.
Nor do I intend to gather that knowledge. I will watch the fights when they're on because it's boxing. If it's part of an undercard, I'll watch it. It's part of the undercard. But long story short is, if it's not Katie Taylor, if it's not Cecilia Brækhus, if it's not Clarissa Shields or Hammer or the other chick who's like meant to be fighting Taylor for Undisputed at some point, like Daphne or whatever her name is. If it's not any of them, I don't know. Or Michaela Myers.
Yeah, I agree. People are talking in the chat about Christina Hammer versus Clarissa Shields. I couldn't tell you who wins that fight. So, yeah.
I mean, it's a good fight. I mean, I've seen them both fight. I don't really know much about either of them. I just think it's competitive.
Yeah.
I would say that Clarissa looks like she's a little bit chinny and she's very open, and Hammer looks very relaxed and calm and polished. And I think Hammer can exploit that, and she's definitely got a chin on her. So I can see Hammer like being quite relaxed in the fight, and Clarissa coming forward and getting caught. So that's what I'd see there.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you, man. I've never watched either one of them fight. I'm going to go with Hammer just because she's better looking. That's all I can tell you.
Wow.
That's what we're going with tonight. We're going with a bit of misogyny.
Misogyny and mayhem. Welcome to Del Boys Boxing News.
Yeah, we'll go with Hammer. I'm not a fan of female boxing. They can listen if they want to do it, then fair play.
Look, what's worse, female boxing or transgender male boxing in the male professional ranks with Patricio? Remember that shit?
Yeah, that's true. That is a fucking circus. Yeah.
But let's make sure that we don't get your channel banned and move on from that topic.
Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah, especially these days, Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, I love female boxing. I think it's great. It's tremendous, tremendous.
Let's go,
Um,
Katie Taylor.
yeah. Yeah, a couple of people in the chat are talking about some heavyweight prospects. Makhmudov, I like him a lot. I think he's a good prospect. He's one of the lesser known prospects right now. People are talking about a Jagber in that, and Hergovich, people like that. But yeah, Makhmudov looks pretty brutal. He looks so strong, like mad strong.
I remember when I first talked about Hergovich, man. Yeah. Every hardcore boxing fan, pretty much except for 10 or 15 people, I was talking to him when he was coming from the World Series of Boxing.
Yeah.
And and I was saying this guy is going to be a dangerous pro, and everyone was like, "Who the fuck is that?" Now it's like he has a cult following. It's crazy.
He does. It's I agree. It's like a Jagber as well. He's already picking up a nice little following, and it's good, I guess, man. It's good, but. I mean, there's a lot of good prospects coming up right now at heavyweight.
There is.
There's a lot, and in 18 months' time like I said earlier. I said in an earlier stream, the division is going to look very different in 18 months' time.
There's a fight I want to see between prospects, but it won't happen. But it's a fight I definitely want to see. That's what I want to see. I want to see Tony Yoka rematch Hergovich.
I'd love to see that. Yeah,
I want to see that. That's a great fight. And people are like, "Oh, Yoka, he's on a ban, whatever." Tony Yoka is still a top-end prospect. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah. Tony Yoka, he's an interesting prospect. Once he gets this ban over and done with, I want to see him stay active, get a few fights under his belt and see what's what. But, I think Yoka, when he turned pro, kind of had that amateur style, but his last couple of pro fights...
Aggressive.
He's been sitting down on his punches, settling into the pro style. And I have noticed improvements in his last couple of fights.
And he's big, by the way, and he's fast.
Yes.
The thing that gets me about Yoka is he's got hand speed, man. That's what excites me about him. And if you look at Joyce and Hergovich, Joyce is the more aggressive of the three.
Yep.
Right? He just comes forward plodding. Hergovich is the most tempered. Where the most classic, fundamental European boxing style, kind of like Vitali.
Yeah.
And then Yoka, he seems to be the most hesitant with the fastest hands.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, Shepherd of Sons, he says Hergovich beat Yoka in the Olympics in his opinion. Yeah, I agree.
You're not wrong, man. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I felt Joyce edged out Yoka as well.
That wasn't even the biggest robbery at the Olympics. Biggest robbery at the Olympics was Mick Conlan.
Yeah, Conlan against, was it Nikitin?
Yep.
Yeah. Nikitin's he's a pro now, isn't he?
He is. That's a fight that they're talking about making.
Yeah, he's fighting on that Conlan card this weekend, I believe. He's fighting on that card. I think you're right. They're going to go down that route.
Make that fight and put it in Ireland.
Do you reckon it'll sell?
I reckon Nikitin want to escape with his life, but I'll be honest with you, I think it would do 5,000 or 6,000 seats, man.
Yeah. How big is Conlan's star power in Ireland?
Even though he's from Northern Ireland, right? I think he's a bigger name in the Republic of Ireland just because he represented us.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't represent the UK. So because of that, he's a very big name down here. And most boxing fans and even sports fans know him because of the World Championships, the amateurs winning gold, and they know him because of the robbery in the Olympics. His picture was in our papers for about 3 months after that.
Yeah. Shepherd of Sons, he's put in a good shout in the chat. Levitt in the Olympics, he beat Tishchenko and got robbed. Yeah, and Tishchenko, whatever his name is, he's turned pro now. He's I think 2-0 or something. Mm-hmm. He's at heavyweight as well. Yeah, he's an interesting prospect.
Let's just put it like this: heavyweight division has a lot of prospects that can potentially be elite, right?
Yeah, I agree.
What that means is right now the top of it is dominated by 3 or 4 guys, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, 3 guys, really. Yeah.
In the next 18 months, like you said, and these prospects having 15, 16, 17 fights, and they're no longer prospects, they're challengers, contenders. We could have a golden era.
Yeah, we could. People are saying this era is golden era. I don't see it like that. I think the next era, like you say, I think it's looking quite special. I really do. I think it's looking good.
And Joshua's still young enough to be a part of that.
Joshua's still young enough. Fury's still young enough. Even Wilder, how old's Wilder now? 33.
Yeah.
18 months.
So he'd be 35.
Yeah, he can still. He'll be knocking about still, I think. And yeah, you got cruiserweights coming up as well, like Garcia and people like that.
Garcia, Usyk, and in my opinion, like Usyk's the main guy to watch out for. But yeah. Michael Hunter, holy God, what a revelation he is!
Yeah, he's going places now. People are talking about him versus Povetkin. I don't know whether you saw it in the chat. I'd love to
show me the money.
Yeah, just tell me about it. I'd love to see that fight. Jake Cleary, what's up, mate? How you doing?
Jake Cleary, my fanboy. That's my fanboy.
He's calling Conlon a massive hype job. Do you agree?
Do I agree with Michael Conlon being a massive hype job?
Yeah.
Who's hyping him?
Yeah, I think when he turned
Michael Conlon was famous going into the pro game. He's actually less famous now.
Yeah.
He was in the biggest scandal in the Olympics, mate.
You're right. Yeah, you are right. And when he turned pro, there was quite a lot of fanfare. But I think it's calmed down now, to be honest. It's calmed down.
So, I don't see him being a hype job. I just think like he was
hot.
He capitalized off of media. Like, yeah. I don't think he's overhyped. Do you mean he's overhyped in terms of people thinking that he's going to be a world champion? Yeah. It's a possibility, but he wouldn't be my main prospect in that weight division.
To be honest, though, to be fair, I think it's more. I don't think it's even people thinking he's going to be a world champion, because I don't really see many people say that. I think it's more like the media attention that he gets, and for what he's showing so far. I think that's what people mean. Maybe they could make.
Here's a serious question for you. You think about all of the things that happened, the medalists, etc. What's the most famous incident that happened at that Olympics?
Yeah, it was Conlon getting robbed
and sticking his middle finger up.
Yeah.
That was in every paper. It was on Sky Sports News, BBC News, ITV News, RTE News over here. It was on everything, man.
And to be fair, that was not only one of the most iconic images of boxing in that games, just for games in general. Like, it's one of the most iconic images.
Him sticking his middle finger up, man. Yeah. That's huge. Like, there's a reason Top Rank signed him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just the skills. It's not just the skill set. He wasn't the most promising skill set. He's got a decent skill set. He has no power now. But
yeah,
what he does have is he's got an image. He's a known name. Michael Conlon is arguably in the UK one of the top 15 most known fighters already.
Yeah, you can certainly make that argument. In fact, he probably is, to be honest.
Because if you include Ireland in there, he's definitely more known than a lot of guys over in the UK.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Who do you reckon? What do you reckon the route will be for Conlon? Like, he's talking about fighting Warrington.
Hey, good luck.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to see that anytime soon. I'll be honest.
You've heard me talk about Warrington, man. I rate the kid.
Yeah, he's come on so far, man. Since I recall when he fought Sammy Emmamoon on Sky Sports, and I think that was for the Commonwealth, maybe. And back then, you never would have said he would have been a world champion. I don't care what anybody said. Like, nobody thought he was going to be a world champion.
If I had told you then, about 3.5 years later, Josh Warrington, in the space of 6 months, would beat Carl Frampton and Lee Selby back to back.
Yeah.
You'd have pissed yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Crazy.
You called me a casual.
Yeah. Cool. I'd have called you a fucking Leeds hooligan, to be honest.
Pretty much.
Fucking, he's done really well, man. And yeah, it's been nice following his career. He's taken the right fights at the right time. He's fighting good competition. He's given us fights we want. What more can we ask for?
He's entertaining.
Exactly. Yeah.
Value for money too.
I mean, yeah. I mean, did you? I don't know whether you purchased it, but I watched the pay-per-view with Warrington, Frampton, around a mate's house, and I didn't regret chipping in there, to be honest.
I'll be honest with you, mate. I was at the Dillian Wi-Fi, so
Well,
yeah, I was at the Dillian Wi-Fi. I managed to get to. One of my mates got tickets to that, so I went. So I wasn't actually like home to buy the pay-per-view.
yeah, but you wouldn't have complained if you did.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I was debating it, which one I'd buy, and before me May had it, I was about to call up and get the BT Sport pay-per-view. So I was going to get that one. But that wasn't mainly for Warrington. That was, I'm Irish, you know what I mean? Frampton.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, Frampton's been good value himself, to be fair.
Other than Duck and Rigo.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, what? What?
No, that's true. He did avoid Rigo, yeah.
So did the Quigginator.
Oh, Scott Quigg, yeah. What's he doing these days? He's on a card coming up. I'm not interested in Scott Quigg, to be fair.
Scott Quigg is pound for pound number 2,900. Throw some respect on the name. Nah, Scott Quigg, he's entertaining though, isn't he? He's a bit entertaining in the ring. Yeah. Like he's there to fight. He ain't there to box.
Yeah, the Valdez fight was great, wasn't it? That was a great
spectacular
fight.
Actually.
Yeah. Valdez showed so much bottle that night as well because Quigg, he obviously missed weight. He was fucking huge. And Valdez...
But apparently he had a broken leg, me bollocks.
Yeah, fuck off.
You don't walk like that. You don't fucking move like that on a broken leg.
Yeah. No, exactly. But, and yeah...
Oh, we put some injections into his legs, yeah? Did you tape it up and did you fucking nail the bone back together? Come on.
Yeah, Valdez broke his jaw in that fight, man. He showed so much heart. That is a good fight.
To me, like when it comes to broken jaws, the one that still sticks out in my mind is when Daenerys went the distance with Rigo after being like having his jaw snapped. Yeah. Not even broken, snapped. It was hanging. Bit like Arthur Abraham with Froch. Do you remember that?
Yeah, Abraham. Yeah, yeah. Abraham was he was in a bad way. Yeah, yeah. He's a tough bastard though. Abraham.
I like the interview with the two of them backstage together. Like, Carl Froch is like, all right, man. And he goes, yeah. He's like, boxing in it. And Abraham goes, fucking yes.
Yeah, Abraham's tough as nails, man. You just look at him and he looks like he's made of fucking wood. Do you know what I
mean? You can chop it up, you can crack it up. It's still going to be there.
Yeah, exactly. He's a strong guy, man. Strong guy. I always used to like Arthur Abraham. Was never like the most skilled or anything, but he fought anybody.
Complete grit and determination got him there.
Yeah. And at middleweight, he was quite good as well.
Decent, yeah.
Yeah, he was good at middleweight. At 168, he was always a bit undersized, to be honest. But yeah, I liked Arthur Abraham, to be honest.
Can I ask you a quick question, mate?
Yeah,
because I want to get your perspective on this. What's your thoughts on fans nowadays saying fighters are absolutely terrible, right? Because they're not able to beat so-and-so. Because I heard somebody tell me that Liam Williams is a terrible boxer because Golovkin would beat him.
So Liam Williams is a terrible fighter because he can't beat one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, basically.
Yeah, that's what I got told. And then I'm like, okay. And then he's like, he couldn't even beat Liam Smith. He's terrible. I'm like, that's arguable. Those fights are arguable.
Yeah, I know. But Liam Smith is like fringe world level, would you say?
Yeah, but it's saying somebody's terrible. Like, fringe world level, in my opinion, means you are a superb fighter in what you do.
Yeah, of course.
If you are world level, right? Anything below that, you're a very good fighter. If you're a British champion, you're a very good boxer.
Yeah,
you are a very. If you are an area level fighter, you are a decent fighter. If you are a journeyman, you are still going to knock the shit out of 99% of people on the street. Yeah. Guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly. And look at it like this. Let's say there's Liam Williams is at middleweight, isn't he? Let's say there's 2,000 middleweights in the world, and Liam Williams, sorry, is ranked like the 25th best in the world. That's pretty good, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
It's what? It's the top 1.5%.
Exactly. It's fucking
I
retarded.
mean, how many of us are in the top 1.5% in the world at anything?
There we go.
Like, or top 2%, or even top 10%. I'd like to think that I'm in the top 10% in the entire world for being able to juggle everything that I actually juggle and being able to manage my time. I actually believe that, because essentially I should not be sleeping, but I manage to. Because I work,
true.
I do school, I train 4 hours a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I manage to get all my food in, time for my son, keep a relationship going, and I think that's really difficult to do, right?
Yeah.
But at the same point, I'm not going to say that I'm the hardest working guy on the planet or even in the top percent, but I'd like to say I'm in the top 10, 15%.
Yeah.
And to me, that's impressive.
No, it's true. It's true. And
Like,
I mean,
I have a question for you. Jason Wellborn, he lost to a guy who had a losing record, yeah?
yep.
And he beat Tommy Langford. Is Tommy Langford a crap boxer? No.
No.
Is Jason Wellborn? No.
Listen, man.
Jason Wellborn gave Jarrah Horde a fucking fight.
He gave him a tough outing, as long as it lasted.
He did.
Listen, man. There's certain people out there. I've noticed this. Certain people won't watch boxing at a certain level. You know, they'll only watch boxing at one level, and that's it. You know, it's sad, but it is what it is.
And then there's people who do me in the chats that I know, right? Like Fat Apples and stuff. You might have seen Fat Apples lurking around, yeah?
Yeah, I've seen him.
I like Fat Apples a lot because I do see him on the IFL cards chatting away to people while they're going on. And then you go into somebody's chat room and he's chatting in there as well at the same fucking time, talking about something else while watching the IFL. Like, that's a hardcore boxing fan, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's been subbed for a little while on my channel. Yeah, I know Fat Apples. He knows his stuff as well. To be fair to him,
whether I agree with him on everything or not, like, everybody has an opinion, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he knows his boxing, and I've never actually seen him say, like, even though he isn't exactly the biggest fan of Wilder in the world, he's never said Wilder's trash. But I've seen guys say Wilder's trash. Wilder's a fucking incredible fighter at what he does. Because the fact is, one punch knockout, he's probably the number one in the entire fucking world.
He is, and not only that, he's proven that he's got good. He's fairly durable. He's got a good heart. You know, he's got a good jab when he uses it. It's not like it's just power. You know, he does have other attributes that are going for him as well.
And remember, when we say he's got a good jab, we're not saying he's got a better jab than Tyson Fury. That's not what we're saying here. We're saying that he's got a competitive one. Like, it's good enough to keep guys like Thurman and Areola honest.
Yeah. And listen, Wilder's he's also, like, I don't know. If he was shit, he wouldn't be where he is now. Let's be honest. He's a good fighter. He's a world-class fighter.
Here's a question for you, right? You know Ernie Shavers, right?
Yeah.
Ernie Shavers is talked about as having the greatest one punch in the history of boxing.
Yeah.
Right? He's in that conversation. Ernie Shavers was never a world champion.
Exactly. Wilder is.
And Ernie Shavers wasn't bad. Ernie Shavers was very fucking good.
Exactly. I know there's differences. Obviously, it was a harder era back then.
Harder isn't the word, man.
A lot harder. Less title.
Ali, Frazier, Foreman, Sam Loyal, fucking Ernie Shavers. Lots of guys. I could go on
Jimmy
for
Young.
a while here, but mate, yeah, Jimmy Young. Fuck's sake, though.
He's a good fighter.
Okay, yeah, but like a guy who was considered the worst of that era in some ways of the top guys is Joe Buckner,
and he's a solid fighter.
I guarantee you right now, Joe Buckner would fuck Dillian White up.
Do you think?
I genuinely believe that he would fuck his.
He's crafty.
Dillian White wouldn't knock out fucking Joe Buckner. Are you kidding me?
No, he's
and he wouldn't beat him on points. He's not beating Buckner in a boxing match.
Buckner, he was around for
European champion.
He's around for years as well, Buckner.
24-year career, I think.
Yeah, he's around for years, man.
He stopped and came back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Shepherd of Sons, he says Wilder has some skills but relies too much on his power. Yeah, that could be a legit criticism.
That's
Um,
legitimate. Yeah, he does rely on his power, but it works.
yeah. I think the Fury fight is a good example of that because like he got the two knockdowns that kind of saved him. But there was a couple of things I noticed that were working for him that he didn't stick with. Like for
Let's just
example,
jab
yeah,
to the body.
jab to the body. Yeah, that shot was there all night, and when he threw it, it landed.
At will.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if Wilder, you know, just took a step back and like wasn't so gassed on his power, he would be even better than he is now. And he's still a very good fighter now. But yeah, Wilder's good, man. I don't always agree with what Wilder says, but he's a great fighter. That's all you can say. On any given night, Wilder can beat anybody in the division. And
Except one man.
who's that?
The gorgeous villain.
The gorgeous villain.
Charles Martin.
Oh, Charles Martin, you're right. Charles Martin.
Because I'm going to give everybody a narrative. I want you to remember this. Charles Martin said, I walk this world like a god.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Charles Martin, Anthony Joshua would not be a star. He came in there and he answered like every god would who truly loves his worshippers. He came in there and he gave Anthony Joshua what he needed. He said, you know what? Sometimes God doesn't answer prayers, but tonight he's going to answer yours. And he hands him the IBF belt by taking a knee, and the rest is history. Anthony Joshua is a phenomenon. All thanks to Charles Martin.
Jake Cleary, he says the LDBC give Wilder a bad name. Listen, man, I don't like to let other people cloud my judgment of fighters. It's like Errol Spence. I've noticed it about Errol Spence. At one point, his fan base really put me off, but why? I mean, I really love watching him fight. Why am I going to get put off? It's a stupid mindset to have. Like, fuck it, I'm going to enjoy watching Errol Spence. If his fans are trash, his fans are trash.
I'm going to say it like this, and anyone can give me shit if they want it. Joshua fanboys, Fury fanboys, Wilder fanboys are all as bad as each other.
100%.
That's that.
100%.
They're unbelievable. I can't fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
Anytime you go into a boxing chat, it's like 50 million. No, they're arguing about it even up until a couple of weeks ago. What is that? I mean, it's done. It's dusted. Like, no one cares.
I've tried to like stop myself not. Do you know when you look at a fighter and they've got like a toxic fan base and you kind of it puts me off sometimes. I'll be honest, and I'm trying not to like let it cloud my view on fighters. I'm just trying to enjoy fighters for what they are. Like they can't help their fan base at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like matchroom cards, like matchroom. Do you ever watch a matchroom show and you're watching with casuals and you just want the matchroom fighter to lose just because he's matchroom?
No.
I do that all the time.
But the reason why is, though, I'm not biased.
Yeah, I'll get wound up with it, mate.
But I will sit there and troll the fuck out of people pretending to be biased.
Yeah.
But I am not remotely biased because at the end of the day, my favourite fighter is the fighter who's fighting and putting on the good show that I'm watching. And that's that. Yeah. I've always been that way.
That's true, but like... Do
you know who my favourite fighters last year were?
Warrington?
No. My favourite fighters last year wasn't Usyk because of his performances, even though his performances were fantastic. Wasn't Warrington. My favourite fighters last year was Orozco and Jose Ramirez for that fight that they put on against each other because it was just a fucking war. It was stunning to watch. Absolutely stunning for me. That's like my picturesque perfect fight type of fight to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, they were my two favourite fighters last year because they gave me my favourite fight last year.
Yep. And even Ramirez versus Imam. That was a really good fight.
Look, Ramirez versus anybody is fucking value.
Yeah.
Hell, I'd go watch Jose. If he ever came over to the UK and he was fighting in the UK, let's say at the Hydro against Josh Taylor, I'd be first in line, man. I'd be like, lads, My prayers have been answered by the boxing gods. That
That'd
to
be
me
key.
is a hardcore boxing fan's wet dream, that type of fight.
That'd be a great fight. That'd just be a war, absolute war. Tremendous, man. Yeah, I'd love to see that fight. Hopefully, after this World Boxing Super Series,
We get some
Ramirez,
unifications.
Ramirez gets in the mix and fights a unification.
Ramirez, Hooker, and the winner of this, they unify.
Yeah,
I'd actually like to see Ramirez and Hooker have a fight before then.
there'd be a
So that
war.
the two belts are it'd be fucking phenomenal. I'd pick Ramirez though. I think he has too much output.
But Hooker's improving. Hooker
But
really.
Ramirez he's improving, but Ramirez is better.
Don't know, man. I was impressed with how Hooker kind of like adjusted to Saucedo. You know, he started badly. He got dropped, but you know he started to time Saucedo and got him out of there. Like
Yeah, but Saucedo also started to like slow down his pressure.
he did.
After the drop down, and after that, like he kind of, he wasn't as intense. He was trying to like play too safe, in my opinion,
Yeah,
and Hooker beat the shit out of him.
but
Ramirez is gonna fight fire with fire.
yeah, but I think Saucedo started to slow down partly because Hooker started to get his timing down, and he started to find the target.
That's fair enough, but with Ramirez, that doesn't matter because Ramirez, it's not you don't time fighters like that because he just throws.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, yeah, that's true.
So
He's
the
that
only
type-
way I
yeah.
see Hooker beating him is by knocking him out. I don't see him winning on points. The volume's too crazy.
Yeah, and people I saw people on Twitter like Ramirez gets a lot of like criticism. Like he's fought pretty good competition. Like Zepeda's not a bum. Orozco was an undefeated prospect who was looking good. Imam's
Mate,
a dangerous fighter.
I'm gonna be honest. I think that fight was closer, the Orozco and Ramirez fight, than the judges had it.
Yeah,
I thought it was quite close, and I'll be honest with you. I actually could see Orozco, in the World Boxing Super Series.
yeah,
I think the four guys remaining would have a tough night with Orozco.
yeah.
All four of them.
Well, I saw people on Twitter saying, "Oh, Ramirez hasn't fought anybody. He's fought 3 dangerous fights in a row. Imam, Orozco, and Zepeda. They are all dangerous fights. They're all tough fights.
Look, Del, I've heard people say Usyk hasn't beat anybody.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous, man. Like Zepeda's like he's a good boxer. He's a good boxer. Southpaw as well. You know, he's tricky. The Flanagan defeat didn't tell the full story. He done his shoulder. He dislocated his shoulder. Like it was a freak accident. You know, he would have beat Flanagan in my opinion if his shoulder didn't pop. But that's just my opinion. I don't know about you.
I didn't actually hear what you said, mate. I went out to the door and I had a Chinese man yell at me.
Zepeda, I think he would have beat Flanagan if his shoulder didn't pop out. Personally,
look, you listen to me, Del. You listen to me, yeah. Fact is, turbo charged. Nah, he was winning that fight.
Yeah. Nah. Shepherd of
Terry
Sons.
the Turbo. Oh God.
Shepherd of Sons. He reckons Ramirez lost his last fight. It's close against the Peter. It was close. I felt. I didn't even score it actually. So listen, I just felt it was close.
It's hard to score Ramirez fights, man. It really is because they're just entertaining, aren't they?
Yeah, that's actually. It's funny you say that. It's one thing I've stopped doing recently is scoring fights because I've noticed when you score a fight live, I don't enjoy it as much personally. I'd rather just sit back and enjoy the fight. Usually, you get a good gauge of who's won anyway, regardless if you score it or not. But yeah, I've kind of stopped scoring fights at the minute, or stopped scoring them live anyway. Kind of ruins my enjoyment, to be honest. ABC Def, he says Bellew and Casuals said that Usyk hadn't beaten or faced anyone like Tony Bellew. Yeah, I remember that, man. That was embarrassing.
Quick question for you: would Tony Bellew beat Michael Hunter?
Ooh, at Cruiser.
At Cruiser.
At Cruiser. I don't think he beats the Hunter that fought Usyk.
I don't either, if I'm being honest with you.
It'll
And
be
people are
close.
like, well, who's Hunter? Hunter's proven to be very good.
Yeah, Hunter is a
Very.
solid fighter. I
If
mean,
Hunter goes in there and beats Povetkin, that's going to make Usyk's resume look even better.
yep. And even like Hunter, like go back to the amateurs. I mean, he gave Beterbiev all he could handle. He's a good boxer. He's got a really good jab, quick hands as
Serious
well.
question for you. Do you think Beterbiev won that fight? Because I don't.
I felt it was very close.
I gave
Very
it to
close.
Hunter. I gave it to
Yeah.
Hunter.
No, I can see why. The jab, yeah, I can see why.
His jab is remarkable, man.
Yeah, it
We've
is.
seen a little. Do you know who's looking like he's going to be a very good trainer? Hasim Rahman, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I'm telling people now, watch out for Hasim Rahman fighters. Like, I mean, Travis Reeves was completely outmatched in every department against Anthony Yard, and he gave
yeah.
a good account of himself. He's just too small, but he gave a good account of himself, and one of those rounds was tight. Another one, Reeves won.
And you could tell, like, Reeves was told about certain things. Like, I'm sure he was told about the right hand because he was looking for that, like, kind of like looping right hand over the shoulder roll. Like, he was looking for that shot continuously. And, like, you could tell he was following some type of game plan. Do you know what
But
I mean?
did you notice that his jab is very similar to how Hunter's throwing his, getting into that range and popping off and getting out, and like just changing the rhythm and being variant with it.
Yeah.
It's looking like a
Yeah.
Rockman trademark, man. I'm
Yeah.
enjoying that.
I would still like to see Hunter go back down to cruiserweight, though, personally, but I'd like to see him win a world title down there.
I'd like to see him fight some good fighters down there. Actually have a cruiserweight career.
Yeah.
I don't
agree.
think he's big enough for heavyweight, man, if I'm being honest with you.
No. Neither do I.
I mean, Ustinov doesn't really prove that, and neither does Bacoli, you know?
Yeah, Bacoli was more impressive because at least Bacoli had ambition. But Ustinov is basically a walking punch bag at this point. He's a big 6'7" dosser, as Tyson Fury would say. No, he's a tough guy, but like he's super limited. Super limited.
He's got, mate, if you can box and you can take a punch, you can beat him.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Shepherd of Sons, they're talking about Beterbiev in the chat. The Quags says Beterbiev is overrated, and Shepherd of Sons said Beterbiev's best days are behind him. I agree with Shepherd of Sons. I've said this. I think we've missed Beterbiev's best days. I think we've just not seen them. I don't think he's. I don't think we've ever seen his prime, to be honest. But there we go.
I don't think we will.
Nope, I don't.
Because it's gone.
He's 34 now, I believe. 33, 34. Yeah, he's still a dangerous fighter. He can still punch, but I just think we missed a really, really good fighter due to inactivity, due to promotional issues, due to injuries. We just missed a really good fighter. And he's still good now.
I want to see him fight Vojtik, dude.
Yes.
That's the fight. That's a fight. And then I want to see Bivol and Kovalev. Although Yard's meant to be fighting Kovalev, not meant to be, has been ordered to.
Mandated, yeah.
If that fight happens, I will literally carve the words "fancy that" on the side of my cock.
But listen, man, I said it on my video, man. At this point, I'm not going to say I'm not going to criticize it. I just want to see how good Yard is, and if he takes the fight, I'll give him credit. Like
if he takes the fight, all we can do is support it. He's taking on a good world champion.
Yep, and listen. Regardless, if we think he's ready or not, if we don't think he's ready, that's even more of a challenge, and we should give him more credit. Really, do you know what I mean? Like, listen, I'm for it. If it happens, I'd watch it. Do you know what I mean? It's a fun fight, regardless of what happens. That fight will be fun while it lasts. Regardless.
At the end of the day, Anthony Yard is pound for pound number one, and everybody's sleeping.
No, but seriously, genuinely, if Anthony Yard beats Kovalev, regardless if Kovalev is 35, that's one of the best wins from a UK fighter in recent years. It's up there. If Yard beat Kovalev, that win is up there for UK fighters in the last 10 years. That would be a great win, to be honest. So it's
it'd be nearly as good as Dave Allen knocking out Nigel Benn or Nick Benn or Nick Webb, whatever.
Nick Benn. Yeah, no. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Though it'd be a tremendous win if Yard beat Kovalev.
It'd be unreal, actually. It really would. It'd be phenomenal because he's stepping up to world level out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's like stepping up. It's like I don't know, man. It's a huge fucking jump, a massive jump in levels. And yeah,
Here's a
man,
serious question: has Anthony Yard beaten anybody better than Jose Aborn?
maybe Sedge Locker. I'd say maybe.
Does Locker beat Jose Aborn at light heavy?
I
Now?
don't know.
Right now?
Probably not.
Because that's what you need to talk about with Sedge Locker. We're not talking about Sedge Locker 5 years ago.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So realistically, it's like jumping from British level. So if he goes in there with Kovalev, it's like jumping up from beating Sam Sexton and fighting against Tyson Fury.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But like Yard, like some Yard, like well, no, sorry, Frank Warren. He seems adamant that it's going to happen. He seemed adamant that the WBO were going to order it, and they did. Like it seems they're going to go down that route.
I mean, at the end of the day, Frank Warren seems adamant about a lot of things. Like he seems adamant that every time you buy a ticket, you're going to get value for money. And then you're lucky if you even get your money back.
You're lucky if a fucking car takes place.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like it's more. I'll be honest with you. I have more faith in Frank Warren cards that are made not happening than them actually happening.
Yeah, it does happen a lot.
Happened to me 4 times, mate. You know my birthday.
Yeah.
Last year, my girlfriend, she wanted to take me to Billy Joe Saunders, Martin Murray, because I'm actually a Saunders fan in terms of I enjoy watching him fight.
Yeah.
He's just something about a purist, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's good for purists when he's on form. Anyway, she bought the tickets, booked our hotels and everything. A week later, like 2 weeks before the fight, gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah, it's bad, man.
Apparently, he had a wanking injury. No, it's because you sold 1,200 out of 16,000 tickets.
Yeah, it's a joke, man. And Billy Joe, man. I mean, did you see? He's fighting in May, I believe. Billy Joe.
What weight limit? Cruiserweight, heavyweight?
168. He's still fighting that guy he was going to originally fight, Isafi.
What's his name? Mehmet Isafi, is it?
Yes, Shefat or something.
Shefat.
Yeah.
So she's fat.
Isafi.
She's fat and iffy. So
Yeah.
she's fat is iffy. Okay.
Yeah.
Shefat Isafi.
So it's not going to be for the WBO from what I can see. What I reckon will happen, that fight's going to be an eliminator for the WBO. That's what I think is going to happen because they're both 1 and 2 in the rankings.
Mate, do you know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see Bivol vacate his belt, go down to 168, and like fucking fight Saunders. Like if Saunders wins an eliminator, get himself into the WBO and fight Saunders.
Yeah.
Fucking, I'd love to see that just for the lulz.
Yeah, man. I think Bivol can make 168 as well.
So do I. He definitely can't go up. He's not big.
No, he is a small light heavyweight. Genuinely.
Yeah, he is exceptional though in some ways.
Yeah,
he's just so consistent, isn't he?
Like when I watch Bivol, I see a fighter who can go a hell of a long way. I see a fighter who can beat everybody in that division, but a lot of other people don't seem to be that high on him. No, I'm high on Bivol.
I see a consistent, concise, productive fighter who picks his shots very smart, and it's just people like they're paying too much attention to like when he gets hit. Yeah, he gets hit and he moves back. He doesn't engage it.
No.
Wow. Crazy to think a fighter is that intelligent.
And it's not like he gets hit on a regular basis. He gets hit now and again. It's not like he's getting bashed up every fight. Do you know what I mean?
I think Joe Smith landed 12 punches in that fight or something stupid.
And that punch in round 10 on the bell, that's a big shot, and he took it fairly well. Joe Smith
it was on the top of the head.
Yeah.
And Joe Smith's a big puncher. Like big.
Yeah, exactly. He's a very big puncher.
You might as well just say that Callum Johnson smacked him on the top of the head. They hit a bit the same.
Exactly. Exactly. And tell you what, actually, Callum Johnson beat Monaghan. Let's have Callum Johnson versus Joe Smith Jr. That'd be tremendous at light heavyweight. I'd
Punch
love to
up of
see.
the fucking
Yeah,
season.
love to see that. That'd be tremendous. Great fight.
For the 5 rounds at last, we'll be like, ah!
That'd be amazing. I was actually quite impressed with Joe Smith Jr., believe it or not. I think he came in there with a lot of effort. He looked strong physically. You know, he gave it a go. He was just outclassed, to be honest.
There's just one thing I didn't like about Joe Smith Jr.
What's that?
He's not known as a boxer, is he?
No.
Why is he coming in there trying to do the shoulder roll?
Yeah, I know. It didn't suit him, did it?
It didn't make any sense at all. Like, that confused me. I'm like, what are you doing?
But
you
like,
can pick shots off so much easier. You have no defense. You don't even have your right hand guarding your face.
but
You don't even have your chin tucked.
Joe Smith Jr., like, you watch him and you think to yourself, well, me personally, I do think there's a better fighter in there. I think, like, if he went with, like, let's say, Robert Garcia, like, Robert Garcia adds a jab to his arsenal, you know, a bit of head movement, it's a different fighter. Do you know what I mean? Look at what Garcia did with Maidana. You know, he made Maidana use a jab, and Maidana was so much more effective just from that. Like, I think there's a better fighter in Joe Smith Jr. somewhere. You know,
He's a good fighter. He's tough as nails, man.
yeah, I just think he can be a bit better, personally. But yeah, Smith can go again. He's a tough guy. He can punch. Yeah, man. He's
entertaining.
Yeah, good fighter as well. Yeah,
But he was made look rubbish. He was made to look rubbish by Bivol, man. That's the honest truth. And he did make him look very, very, very bad.
He made him look, predictable. Yeah,
Like, if that's your first time looking at Joe Smith Jr., you're going to be like, who's that bum?
yeah. Michael Stock. That's a good point. Bivol's footwork is reminiscent of Klitschko's. Yeah, I can kind of see that. He's very light on his feet, in and out. Yeah, his feet are very good. Yeah, like Bivol. I do think Bivol. Like, people are like talking about his power. I think he hits hard enough, to be honest.
Mate, Bivol's my girlfriend's favorite boxer.
Really?
Yeah, she thinks he's a good boxer and he's attractive.
Bivol's a good fighter, man. Like, I don't know what people want to see sometimes. I find Bivol entertaining, to be honest. And I know people are going to say, oh, you're just being a fucking hipster. I like watching him fight, to be honest.
You are a bit of a hipster, though, aren't you?
No, man. I like watching him fight. Like, he's not like
Are you telling me at your lunch break you don't go down to Costa and get yourself like a mocha latte with like extra foam?
Bro, I've not had a Costa in like fucking years, man. That's not my scene. Not my scene, mate. I'm not about that life. I'm not about it.
So you're more of a chav. You come out of Subway with like a 6-inch meatball marinara.
Nah, I don't do any of that sort of shit. Don't touch fast food or anything like that at all.
Then you're definitely a hipster. It has to be organic, does it though?
Nah. No, man. Nah. Jesus. Nah.
My man over here coming out with goat's milk out of Tesco.
Oh, God.
Eating feta cheese and shit.
Ugh.
I'm starting to sound like a hipster because I know what all these things are.
It's true, man. It's true.
Yeah.
Dale loves a cheeky Nando's. I'll be honest, man. Fucking Nando's. One thing that drives me fucking mad when you go in Nando's, a chicken specialist, and they fucking overdo the chicken. How can he not fucking cook chicken? It's a fucking chicken specialist. Like,
because the shop itself is meant to be a chicken specialist, right? But the truth is, it's Gary down the road cooking the chicken who's working there for £9.40 an hour.
Yeah, but like fucking, I've never had like a butterfly fucking, you know, whatever you call it, butterfly saying.
Butterfly chicken.
Yeah.
Butterfly chicken, yeah.
I've never had that and it been like moist. It's fucking dry as shit. It's like sandpaper. It's like, mate.
Yeah, well, maybe it's because you're going into a shit Nando's. The Nando's I go to does a beautiful one. Nice, moist, juicy.
No, my chicken's better than Nando's. Are you mad? Absolute perfection, mate. I've never burnt chicken, mate. It's impossible.
Do you make your own chicken and then use the Nando sauce sometimes? Because that's awesome.
Yeah, I like using it. Yeah, and also they do the like fucking powder shit. Like you can like coat the chicken in like this powder, like Nando's powder. Really fucking nice, man. I love it. Dell's a fruitarian. What the fuck's that? I've got no clue what that is, mate, to be honest.
Either it means you're really into fruit or he's calling you a fruit. So either like you eat a lot of bananas or you suck a lot of bananas.
Neither one is applicable. Neither one.
Applicable. Fucking hell.
Neither one. I'm not a fruit person, to be honest, mate.
Nah? You don't have an odd sunny day every now and then.
Nah.
Not down with the Tropicana.
Nah. That's all right, actually. Yeah, I don't mind Tropicana. Like, fruit is that if there's anything where like my diet lacks, it's fruit. To be honest, apart from that, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's fruit. I'm not a fan, man. It's not for me. Veg. Yeah, veg is better than fruit. Jake Cleary, 100%. A billion percent.
Depends on the veg. Depends on the veg. Are you telling me you're going to take a Brussels sprout over like a fucking strawberry, mate?
Oh no, I'll take the strawberry in that case. But that's probably my favourite fruit. I'll be honest. Yeah.
Is that your go-to milkshake?
Yep.
Oh, we can't be friends, man.
Yeah, it's fucking beautiful.
Strawberry milkshakes always taste like plastic.
I like them. What's that? What one do I always buy? That is it fruitage or something? I don't know. Fuck knows. I don't know.
Why do you buy it? I thought you don't go anywhere near these fast food things.
Just fucking go like Tesco's or Sainsbury's or something. Mate, I'm a simple man. I'm not extravagant.
You're not exactly that simple if you're shopping at Tesco or Sainsbury's, man.
Brussels milkshake, new day. Nah, Brussels.
Lidl's finest right here. Lidl's finest right here.
You can get some good fucking bargains, mate. Don't knock it. You know what I mean? Get some good bargains.
Like bargains, man. That is where I shop every week. Is Lidl and Aldi, man.
Mate, the meat there's all right, you know.
It's not bad. Some of it's really good. Some of the steak's better than the steak in Tesco, mate.
Yeah. Nah, man, it's good, man. It's good.
I remember once I went in and I did a shop in Waitrose once. I think that's what it was called. It fucking cost me a fortune.
Oh yeah, Waitrose. Yeah, man, it's fucking overpriced. Fuck that. Going in there to see fucking middle-aged fucking housewives shop. Like, yeah.
Sexy little cunts.
Yeah, did it fucking speaking of MILFs, did you see David Benavidez' mum on Fight Hype do an interview?
No, I didn't, but I'm going to go over there right now.
She's a fucking MILF, mate, honestly. I think it was Fight Hype, but yeah, Jesus Christ. I couldn't believe it.
What was her name?
Fuck knows. Hang on, I'll find it. Hang on.
Oh, fuck. David Benavidez' mum explains transition into beast mode, keeps it real on nerves.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at her. Let's have a look.
MILF, mate. Jesus.
Hold up.
She doesn't look old enough to have a kid that old. How old's Benavidez? Like 22? 23?
Our age.
Mm.
Yo, she fucking good looking, man.
She's nice, man. Jesus. Like, you'd hit on her in the fucking club. Do you know what I mean?
She's fine as fuck.
Yeah. Oh, she's fucking doing something right. Jesus.
She's good with her makeup, man.
Yeah.
You see, I'm able to see that she's not exactly young because I'm able to see like her neck and her hands and stuff like that. That's how you're able to tell.
Yeah, but she's nice, man. Like you'd fucking accept that,
mate. She's got some good eyebrows,
mate. Experienced hands, mate. Mate,
why is it every time I get on here, you and me talk about either MILFs or like
fucking getting coked up in a foreign country? Yeah, yeah. Nah, she was special, man.
Nah, she's special. I'm gonna be honest with you. Someone called you Del the MILF Hunter.
She's all right, though, isn't it? I think she's all right.
To be fair, he's not wrong. Who's the last girl you were with? Wasn't she like 43?
Yeah.
Del the MILF Hunter.
But it's like weird.
You're talking about a club, man. Someone's telling the truth. I would hit on her in Lidl.
Yeah.
I'd see her there and I'd walk up to her and I'd be like, Yo, where did they keep the cream?
Like, it's fucking weird, man. Like, yeah, there's, I don't know, something about him, mate, gets me going. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
She really is hot, man. The chat's fucking buzzing right now.
Yeah, man, she's nice. She's nice.
Yo, to anybody in the chat, like, who has to a different tab. Don't tab out of this. Don't tab out of this.
Oh, yeah, my thing went a bit funny then. My stream, it's better now. Yeah, man.
Yeah, go have a look at that. Look at this fine ass bitch. Misogyny and mayhem once again.
Like she's she's got all the experience in the world. You're gonna have a good time, and you know she's probably a good cook as well. Like,
and on top of it, when you look into her eyes, you can see that she hasn't been too damaged by the trauma her life has gone through.
Well, exactly.
She looks a little fucked up, but not completely.
You need a little bit of fucked up as well, though. You need a bit.
All the lads are like Tyann Booth will be talking about her.
Yes, she's nice, isn't she?
What's that quote from Tyann Booth that everybody does?
There's fucking so many, mate. Where do you want to start?
Are you keeping sexual or something? Is that?
Yeah, like he's doing well sexually, isn't he?
Are you doing well sexually? I guarantee you, David Benavidez became a boxer because of how many people bullied him about wanting to fuck the shit out of his mum growing up. Guaranteed.
Yeah, man. Oh, it's jokes. Like,
hold on, I'm gonna mute my mic a little bit. I need to watch this video again.
My boy, them James Helder. Status of a plum. Good old James Helder. Is it true he's in prison?
Mate, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I fucking hope he is. Children are safer with him off the street.
Jesus. Benavidez, his mum's doing very well sexually. Mate.
She could be. She was around here. Hello. Mate,
she would be, bro. Jesus. Man.
I'm gonna link that to my board.
She's good though, isn't it, man? Couldn't believe it.
I guarantee you my board will find her fit.
I'd rather bang her than Carl Froch's bird.
Carl Froch's board with no makeup on her is absolutely rotten. Oh, she's a fucking creature without makeup. Jesus.
Do you reckon there's any pictures knocking about?
Oh man, I seen one once before, and I'm telling you, she's Vincent Van Gogh levels in terms of art because she's doing a lot of work on her face to fucking turn out the way she does. Like, I'm telling you, her fucking face is at a 32-degree angle. And even like you can see with the foundation that she puts on her chest that she's like turning her fucking minus double D's into D's. Like,
yeah,
it's ridiculous.
She's got a gob on her as well.
Oh, she's got a gob on her like he has a nose.
Like, do you remember the what fight was it when you could just hear her screaming? Was it the Jermaine Taylor fight?
It was every fight. Carl!
Yeah, man, it's so fucking annoying. Like, he just wanted his opponents to win, man, to shut her up. Like, fucking hell. Nah. Yeah, man, it's fucking. Oh, she's. I'd still bang her. Don't get me wrong. I'd still give her a go. But like,
do you know who'd get it?
Go on.
Miguel Cotto's wife.
Oh, she's stacked, isn't she? She's fucking stacked. Oh, mate. She's, yeah. Have you seen Erislandy Lara's wife? Bro, he's winning. I don't give a fuck if he's lost, drew to Castano. Like, he's winning. Like,
I'm Googling her right now. Yudi Lara.
She's got a big fat ass.
Oh, she's Cubana.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
She's alright though, isn't she?
She isn't she, yeah.
If you look on her Twitter page, it literally looks like a good-looking girl with her fucking drugged out of his mind boyfriend. Because Lara looks... Mate, go look at Erislandy Lara or whatever, yeah? At Erislandy Lara on Twitter. Go to that Twitter page and look at her, right? She's in the profile picture with him. And he looks drugged out of his mind on the way back from a club.
He's loving life, man. If you've got that on your arm, you're going to be happy, aren't you? Oh, yeah, Shepherd of Sun. He's won the day. Linares, his wife. He could get fucking knocked out in a round by Cano. He's winning, mate. I don't give a fuck. You seen his bird?
No.
Jesus, his mate.
Michelle Linares.
Yeah, man, she's fucking banging.
Oh shit! Yeah, I've seen her before. This board's unreal.
Yeah, she's crazy. Like, mad. Mental, man. Like he's a winner. He could go like 0-20 in his next 20 fights, man, and he's still winning.
Yeah, do you remember the World Cup?
Yeah.
Do you remember the Croatian president pictures that were lurking around?
Yeah, that MILF, innit?
Yeah. Like, all guys right now need to do is go onto Google Images and type in Croatia president and look at her in her bikini on the beach. She's stacked.
Yes.
She's not doing bad for a 57-year-old woman.
Yeah, Ty and Booth, he went off on O'Hara Davis's girl, yeah. I like Ty and Booth. I know he doesn't do it for a lot of people. I think he's funny.
Jake Cleary, man, I told you about the language the other day, man. You need to calm that stuff. I'm not responsible for him, though.
I'm going to show his comments. He's fine. He's fine. Yeah. O'Hara Davis, he's done one video. Fine. Called him out. Yeah. Good old O'Hara.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, Ty and Booth is a character, man.
Ty and Booth's building a fucking cult following, man.
He is. He should have done it when he had a fucking career, though.
I know.
It's like Dave Allen.
Right,
like Dave Allen's got a cult following, like kind of, well, a bit bigger than that now. But if Ty and Booth like was fighting now, he'd be like, I don't know, he'd have made a lot more money. I'll tell you that much. Regardless of
Tyan's a fucking comedian.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. A lot of people don't like that humour, but I like it. My humour is quite lowbrow, to be honest. And yeah, I like Tyan's sense of humour. It's in the delivery though, isn't it? It's like he's so like kind of like dry, like matter of fact, and it just makes it funnier. To be honest, I like.
Someone say Nicola Adams' girlfriend.
Jesus, oh yeah, she's a dyke, isn't she?
Is she?
Yeah.
Are you googling as well? I hear you typing.
Yeah. Fucking hell, this stream has gone to shit, innit?
Nah, man, Nicola Adams' girlfriend is fucking Butters.
She had a girl who cheated on her. I remember that on Twitter, and she was all right, I think.
Nah, this chick is Butters. This chick is Butters from South Park.
Let's have a look.
Nah, she's bang below average at best.
Yeah. Yeah. Bit
Don't get me wrong, I'd still have a one night stand and forget about her, but still.
Yeah, after a couple of pints, everything changes, but
and I'm on spirits.
Yeah, like your standards drop once there's a bit of alcohol in your system. Like sixes turn into sevens turn into eights, and etc. etc. But yeah, she's I'd give it a go.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Let's have a quick look at the chat. Everyone's just talking shit. Mikey Garcia beats Kell Brook? I don't think so, Luna. I think Kell's he's too big, he's too strong. He's a real welterweight, man, and he's got good skills as well.
I mean, his last fight, he was struggling with Magic Mike, wasn't he?
Yeah, but the version of Brook Spence fought, I'd pick that Brook to beat Garcia.
Yeah, but we don't have that version of Kell Brook anymore. Kell Brook shot.
Yeah, I believe he's done as well. But like, if we're talking about the version that Spence fought, yeah, I'm taking Brook.
Danny Garcia girlfriend.
Yeah, I agree, Lewis. That's yeah, I agree. Everyone's just fucking.
Danny Garcia's girlfriend is literally plastic, mate. Holy shit! What is this?
When is Danny Garcia even fighting? Sorry, he's fighting in April, isn't he?
I couldn't care less, mate. I'll figure it out a week beforehand.
Yeah, he's fighting Granados. Off the top of my head.
You see, there's some pictures of his girlfriend where she's absolutely horrible. And then there are some pictures without all that crap done to her face and everything where she's actually good looking.
It's like
before all this plastic surgery, she was fine.
Yeah, it's like Khan's wife, isn't it? Like, she looks like a fucking tranny now. But back in the day, she was alright. Michael Stock, does anybody in the chat thinks Garcia can beat Spence?
Yes.
I've not seen anybody. Oh, no, I saw
Me.
one person. You're not picking Garcia.
I didn't ask, am I picking him?
Nah.
What's the question he asked? Does anyone think in the chat think Garcia can beat Spence? Can.
Well, yeah, he can beat Spence if Spence's fucking arms fall off, yeah.
Or if people are underrating how good Mikey Garcia is.
No,
we don't. What happens if Mikey Garcia goes in there and outboxes Errol Spence and wins that fight?
He was going jab for jab with Lipinets, so I can't see that happening.
Mate, you might not be able to see it, but what if he does? What if he pulls it off and outboxes Errol Spence? If he does, we'll all look stupid.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, though. It's not going to happen.
We've seen stranger. There's been bigger upsets in boxing.
Yeah. Mikey's best chance is if Errol Spence gets a really bad injury, whether his knee blows out, his shoulder pops out, his orbital bone breaks. Spence needs to get injured to lose this fight, in my opinion. I don't think Mikey, even if Mikey was a similar size to Spence, I still think Spence is technically, in the same ballpark as Garcia. I think Spence would hang with Garcia, even if they was the same size. Maybe that's controversial, but I think Spence is pretty good technically.
How shocked would you be if Mikey beat him?
I would be extremely shocked.
You see, I wouldn't be, because everything in my head tells me Errol Spence is going to dominate, right? Everything in my head.
Yeah.
But I have a weird fucking feeling. And whenever I've gotten these weird-ass feelings, 9 times out of 10 I've been right with them. I don't believe Mikey will win it, but something's telling me he's going to, and I don't know what it is. And it's fucking bothering me.
Nah, man. I can't see it, man. I mean, I just think the whole narrative that Garcia's this, levels above Spence in terms of boxing skills, and it's only Spence's size and strength that makes him favourite. I think that narrative is wrong. I think Spence is... I think he's a very good technical boxer. I just think he's well-rounded. He doesn't do... I wouldn't say Spence is amazing in any one area, but all around the board, he's quite sound. If you get what I'm trying to say.
Here's a serious question for you. Who do you think wins between Crawford and Spence?
I think Spence beats him down the stretch.
So you think Spence would win, which means in your head, Mikey doesn't have a prayer because Crawford's better than Mikey at boxing.
Yeah. I don't think
he's
Mikey
better.
Has a chance.
He's way ahead of Mikey in terms of skill set.
Yeah, he's much more well-rounded. He's more versatile. Mikey Garcia isn't versatile. I don't think he is. I don't think he's done a particularly good job of adjusting with Lipinets. I don't think he's done a particularly good job of dealing with Salido.
Lipinets beats Spence. Lipinets beats Spence.
I like your sense of humour.
Oh, I'm serious.
I can tell you're being sarcastic.
No, you're hoping I am right now.
Nah, it's Lipinets, mate. Lipinets is he's an okay fighter, but he's very unproven. Maybe Lipinets is just one of the best kept secrets in boxing. Yeah, potentially, but I don't see it. I think Lipinets is like a middle of the road, fringe top 10 contender at 140, and Mikey kind of struggled. Like, I just don't see how Mikey out jabs Spence. I mean, I don't see how Mikey controls for range for 12 rounds when he couldn't do it against Lipinets. I can't see it. And has Mikey done anything in his career that indicates he can do it? I mean,
he's shown that he can adjust to win fights.
I felt Spence adjusted in the Brook fight, though. In much more hostile surroundings.
I think he stuck to the same game plan. I didn't see a real change.
No, I think. Okay, I'll ask you this. Do you think, Mikey, let's say both guys were exactly the same size, both guys had exactly the same attributes physically, so same height, same reach, same weight. Let's say both guys were exactly the same in terms of body size. Do you think Mikey Garcia is levels above Errol Spence in terms of skill?
No, not at all.
That's what I don't get about this build-up. I don't see it. I don't see Mikey being this master boxer that people are making out. I just don't see it.
But I do think he's a better boxer. I don't think he's levels. I think he's a slightly better boxer. Slightly.
Do you think he's more versatile than Spence?
Do
you think Mikey's more versatile than Spence? Who has more? Who can do a wider variety of things in the ring, in your opinion?
If we're being honest,
I think Spence.
We've seen both of them be pretty one-dimensional so far.
Yeah, but to me, like Spence, as we know, he's quite good on the inside. Agree? Like he's pretty good on the inside. He's
good on the inside.
Mikey's
not bad on the inside.
Yeah, he's not. I don't know. So Errol's good on the inside. I think his best area is at mid-range. I think he's world class, and even on the outside, like against Brook. Brook is a good outside boxer. Agree? Like he's a good outboxer.
I'm actually going to say this. At mid-range, Errol Spence was getting beat up by Callum.
No, he wasn't getting beat up, man.
He was getting beat up at mid-range. Because that's when Kel was landing clean. It was when Errol got on top of him that he was able to dominate the pressure and the pace. That was when things started to change. That was when he was able to beat him, was when he got on top of him. But at mid-range, Kel was catching him with those uppercuts.
See, I felt Spence done a good job of he was getting outboxed by Brook in the first 6 rounds, but he wasn't getting schooled. He was hanging in there with Brook on the outside, which is Brook's strongest area. But once Spence got close, once he got past that jab, and once he got into close proximity, he basically dog walked Brook. You know, he kind of just.
So the only major fight Kell Brook ever won, was against Sean Porter.
Correct.
And it wasn't on the outside that he beat Porter. It was when Porter was rushing in and he was catching him at mid-range and keeping him at bay and then turning him in the pivot. Yeah. I actually personally think Kell Brook's elite mid-range. Like massively elite on the mid-range because his uppercut is a thing of fucking beauty when he does.
No, I agree.
I've always thought it's underrated.
Yeah,
I think Errol's better on the outside than Kell Brook.
Yeah.
And better on the inside. Whereas with Mikey, I don't know if Mikey's better on the outside than Errol. Or I don't actually know how good Errol is mid-range because I feel Errol, when he's mid-range, he always gets it to the inside. He doesn't stay mid-range for very long. He will get himself into mid-range to work himself to the inside because that's where he dominates.
That's where he's coming.
When he's on the inside, he's as good as anybody in boxing right now on the inside.
Yeah, he's true.
As good as anyone.
I think Spence is just as good at mid-range though, but like to me, Brook, like I just don't think like so. People said, would you say Spence was getting schooled in the first 6 in that fight? I wouldn't. I would say Brook was winning after 6, but he wasn't getting schooled.
I had a 4 rounds to 2 Brook.
So did I. But like, I felt Spence even on the outside. He was boxing with Brook fairly well. You know, he was slipping Brook's jab at times. He was making Brook miss. Go back and watch the fight. He wasn't getting tagged over and over with right hands. Like,
I have watched it though.
yeah, but,
I've watched it over and over again.
and yeah, Brook he never schooled Spence or anything. Like Spence was always going to win that fight. And I know it wasn't the best version of Brook, but yeah,
The difference is, even though Mikey's smaller than Brook, Errol Spence isn't fighting a guy with a bionic guy who got stabbed in the leg.
True. But he's like Spence. And another thing about Mikey, I don't trust. Like, I think he's got quit in him. I really do. I don't think he can. When it gets tough, he's going to go on his bike. His output's going to drop. And I mean, look at the fight with Salido. Like, he wanted a way out in that fight. He looked great to start that fight. He looked brilliant.
I'll tell you one thing. I think this is the most honest thing that we can say. Is I think Robert will quit for Mikey in this fight.
Do you think he'll do a?
I don't think Mikey's going to quit. I don't actually see Mikey quitting. You can say he might be looking for a way out. He finished the fight, but I think Robert, if this fight is stopped without it being knocked out, Robert's throwing the towel in, man.
Yeah.
Robert's not going to let his brother get fucking hurt.
And there's a reason, like there's a reason Robert didn't want this fight to start with.
But there's a reason Mikey wanted it. That's what I want to know. What did Mikey see? That's what we have to see here.
Dollar sign.
We have to... Mate, it could be a dollar sign. I mean, there was other money fights out there. Him and Lomachenko would have made just as much.
Yeah. So, that's the thing. So, you just nailed it. Like, Lomachenko and Spence. Let's say... Do you reckon Mikey's purse would have been similar against Lomachenko? Or...
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Most definitely.
So you're saying the purses would have been similar. So... Yeah. So Mikey, in a sense, he's going up 2 weight classes. Him losing is not really detrimental to because he's got a built-in excuse.
He might have a built-in excuse, but going up 2 weight classes, as we've seen before, can end your career.
It can, but my thing is this: what's more damaging, a loss to Spence or a loss to Lomachenko, providing he's healthy at the end of a fight? I say I lost to Lomachenko. There's no excuses if he loses to Lomachenko. He can't say anything. When he loses,
you see, I won't give him any excuses if he loses to Spence. You see, there's no excuses for me, and the reason I give him 0 excuses is because he's taking a fight against someone he shouldn't fight. He shouldn't take this fight. This is fucking stupid.
Yeah. I'm amazed at how many people see this as a competitive fight. And people need to start putting money down on Garcia to make these odds move. I'll put it that way. If people think he can win, put some money down.
Dell wants people, if you believe it, to do it so that he can get better odds on Errol Spence.
The best I've found so far is Spence evens to knock out Garcia in any round.
It's not bad, man.
Yeah. Can you see? I don't know. I'm just not convinced about Mikey. I think Mikey's obviously. I'm not saying he's a bad fighter. He's a good lightweight. He's a really good lightweight. But I felt 140 was his ceiling, and I think the Lipinets fight proved that. And going to welterweight, I just don't think his power's going to carry up. I think he's going to be too small. I don't think. Technically he's that much better than Spence. I just don't see him winning this fight. I just don't see it.
I mean, but I'm just trying to be controversial.
That's fair enough.
The idea is to create discussion, man. At the end of the day, it's like I said, it's a good event.
Yeah, I just want to see it out of morbid curiosity, to be honest.
Morbid curiosity.
That's it. That's the enjoyment I'll get out of it. Is Mikey going to fall in? Yeah. King Bootshow, he's saying he can't believe it's pay-per-view. I wouldn't pay for it. I wouldn't pay for it if it was 10 quid, to be honest.
I can't believe it's a pay-per-view because pay-per-view is never marketed for hardcore fans.
Yeah, true. Do you think it's going to? Speaking of pay-per-view, do you think it's going to do well?
I think it'll do okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Mikey's fan base is like. Obviously, he's got that. Mexican fans are going to follow him, but he's no Canelo. He's no he's not at that level at all. I'm not sure. And Errol Spence don't really have a big fan base outside of Texas, so I'm not sure.
I don't know. Spence.
No, Spence has fans, but
He drew 15,000 at the Barclays.
we thought Terence Crawford had a decent fan base, and look what happened on his pay-per-view.
I never thought Terence Crawford had a decent fan base.
Yeah,
Nobody knows who he is outside of Omaha and hardcore boxing fans.
yeah, but I think Spence is similar. I don't think anybody knows.
No, because Spence is more known because during the Olympics, after an NBA game, he was shown live, and there was about 20 million people watching him fight in the Olympics. So more people actually knew him.
Yeah, maybe, but like, are people going to remember a one-off fight? I'm not
Never
sure.
know.
I'm not sure.
You never know. But some people might. Some. Not expecting all the 20 million, but if even 50,000 remember him, it's extra figures.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I just don't think either one of these guys are like, they're not massive stars. I think it'll do a conservative number. I don't think it's going to flop. I think it'll...
What would you consider to be a flop? Below what?
Below 200.
So you think it'll do 200 plus?
Yeah. I reckon 200 will just about be okay.
Well, that means that's 14 million, 15 million in American, $75. Yeah, you heard that right. $75.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it? King Bucho reckons 200 to 300. Yeah, in that ballpark. Yeah, in that ballpark. I mean, is this fight going to do more than Fury Wilder?
No.
What did Fury
actually,
Wilder do?
no. What did it do? No, we don't have an official number. I think everybody speculated. I've heard some people say it did 150. I've seen people say it did 500. But the most consistent number I've seen is about 280 to 320.
Yeah. Yeah, Carnival. Mikey, the way Mikey's talking, it almost sounds like he thinks he's cherry picking Spence. It's the other way around. It's an easy fight for Spence. And yeah, I'll be honest, I do kind of see it as a cherry pick on Spence's behalf.
If Mikey goes in there and beats Errol Spence, I'm not saying he will, it's very unlikely, but if he does, myself included, will look stupid.
Yeah, man. No, it's true. Listen, I've not given Mikey a hope in hell, so I'm going to be.
If he goes in there and beats Errol Spence, is he pound for pound number one? He's got to be in the conversation.
Yeah, he's got to be in the conversation because ultimately it's a fight I don't think he can win. So if he won the fight, obviously I would give him a tremendous amount of praise. Providing it wasn't like a robbery, of course, but yeah, I'd give him a lot of praise.
If he won this fight, what would he be? A 5-weight world champion?
Yeah, 5-weight.
That's pretty fucking impressive.
But I mean, all the signs to me just don't really point out. It doesn't indicate that he's going to win this fight. I mean, even look at the Broner fight. So listen, Garcia won that fight easily, but Broner was going nowhere in that fight. He was going nowhere. And I mean, that as good as that. I mean, did that performance did Mikey appear to be like a special fighter when he fought Broner? I mean, did you get that vibe? I don't get that vibe from Mikey. I don't get this.
Sometimes to me, the most impressive performances are the ones that don't seem impressive.
Yeah, you mean like just doing the basics well, just... Yeah, I know what you mean.
Just winning without looking like he even bothered.
Yeah.
And he didn't look bothered at all with that. He didn't look like he gave two fucks. It looked like he was like, I'll be honest with you, that was as easy as it comes.
Yeah, it was easy. Yeah.
Is that Broner's fault, or did Mikey just
Oh, it's
better?
Broner's fault. It's Broner's fault. But like, I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to pinpoint the fight that shows me he has a chance in this fight. I've not seen anything throughout Mikey's career that indicates he can hang in there with Spence. Not seen it. I don't get where people are getting this hope from. Is what I'm trying to get at. I don't get what they've seen.
I don't have hope. I don't have belief. There's just something there telling me that I shouldn't be shocked if he doesn't.
Yeah, I don't see it, man. Carnival
I
said,
mean, at the end of the day, I placed money on Spence, so
yeah, I'll put some money on Spence on by knockout. I think.
I put money on him by stoppage as well. I
Yeah,
got that. I got that at evens as well.
yeah. Broner fight looked fixed. Says Carnival. Every Broner fight looks fixed. To be fair, just fucking doesn't let his hands go. He's useless, man.
He's exceptional. 4-weight world champion.
Exceptional at mimicking a statue. Yeah.
Although the last couple of rounds against Vargas, he wasn't statutory at all. Fucking hell.
No, he actually tried in that fight. Oh, here's one for you. So Spence Garcia. Last thing about this fight, because I think it's a mismatch. But last thing, let's say it's close, and somebody's getting robbed. Who gets robbed? Spence or Garcia?
If it's close,
Yeah, who gets? No.
it's a,
Okay, who's more likely to get robbed if it's in that territory?
Mikey.
You think Mikey? Yeah,
It's a PBC card.
I think I agree. It's Texas, so like Mexicans in Texas always get a good shake. But obviously Spence is from Texas, so who's getting robbed? I don't know. I mean,
Spence is from Dallas, mate.
yeah.
They're fighting in Dallas. They're fighting.
I think this fight. I'll leave it at this. I think this fight is it's basically designed to make Spence look like $1 million on pay-per-view. That's what I think. You know, big stadium, big fanfare. I think this fight is designed to make Spence look good. I think Spence is supposed to go out there and do an absolute number on Garcia. And I just think it's it's set up for Spence. I think this fight's happening for a reason, and it's to make Spence look like a star, and I think he will look like a star. I just I don't see it ending.
I don't know why. I really want to see Errol lose just for your fucking video reaction.
I'm not worried about it, mate. He's not losing. And it's not. And by the way, it's not because I want Spence to win per se. I'm not. I'm kind of like I like watching Spence fight, but I'm kind of I don't really root for either fighter if I'm being honest. But I just don't see how Mikey wins. I don't see how he wins. Errol versus Pacquiao next. Shepherd of Suns. I'd watch it. I'd watch it.
You'd watch piss. You've watched really bad fights take place, mate. You'd watch anything. Let's be real.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
But yeah.
I'd watch Pacquiao versus Spence.
But if it was pay-per-view, would you pay for it?
Yeah.
Really?
In UK pay-per-view, yeah.
So 20 quid?
Yeah, I'd pay that. Yeah, I'd pay for it.
Or 15 quid on ITV, maybe?
Yeah, I'd pay for it. And to be honest, let's be honest, Pacquiao's more likely to fight Spence than fucking Thurman. Let's be honest.
I'll be honest with you. I think Pacquiao should fight Thurman.
I think Pacquiao can beat Thurman based on that Lopez performance.
I do too. And I'm not even talking about Thurman on his last performance. I actually think Pacquiao still got it, man. I think he still got it.
Yeah, this version of Pacquiao, he still gives Keith Thurman nightmares. Keith Thurman isn't a good technical boxer, in my opinion. I think Keith Thurman, he relies a lot on his athletic ability. speed, foot speed, explosiveness, but his fundamentals are not that great. I mean, you see Keith Thurman throw himself off balance all the fucking time. I mean, I, I don't think he's a master boxer or anything like that. I think Pacquiao can beat him.
That's because Manny Pacquiao's the GOAT.
Yeah, Pacquiao still has enough to give him a tough fight.
Pacquiao's dangerous for anybody in that division, including Spence.
Yeah, Michael Stock, yep. Thurman is suffering from his terrible punch technique. Yeah, Thurman's left hook at times is like a slap. It's like Broner's left hook. Broner's left hook is like an open palm slap. A horrible technique on that shot. But yeah, boss man, Keith Thurman overcommits. Yeah, he does. Keith's got no jab. Yeah, Keith's jab is, it's not consistent enough. When he throws it, it's pretty average. But yeah, Thurman's legs, to be fair to him, they are pretty good. He's got a lot of energy in those legs. I think, though, the thing with the Pacquiao fight, I think as soon as Pacquiao touches Thurman, he's going to be on his bike. And it's going to make for a dull fight. But yeah, I think Pacquiao has a really good shot against Keith Thurman. Yeah, Michael Stock, I agree. I think as soon as Pacquiao connects, as soon as Pacquiao has a bit of success, yeah, Thurman's going to be fighting like how he was against Lopez. I think Thurman is there for the taking right now, to be quite honest. I do. And Thurman's lucky. I mean, he's lucky he didn't have a harder comeback opponent than Josecito Lopez. Because Lopez was very close to having him out of there. King Bucho, starting to sound like a Keith Thurman fan. Keith Thurman, speaking of Keith Thurman, to me, he's been like the biggest disappointment in the welterweight division. I know he's fought Danny Garcia. I know he's fought Sean Porter, but on the come up, he literally said all of the right things. He'd fight anybody, not afraid to let it go, KOs for life, all of that. He was saying all the right things. He looked the part in his come up fights. I was really excited about Keith Thurman. As soon as he won a title, as soon as he got some shine, he turned into a bit of a diva. And basically that was it's what he was kind of complaining about on the come up. He became what he was complaining about. So yeah, Keith Thurman's been a bit of a letdown in recent years. Yeah, no wonder he didn't fight Vargas in his comeback fight. I mean, the thing with Vargas, technically he's fairly sound. Good jab. I mean, the Vargas from the Ali fight, I think would give Thurman a tough fight, especially a comeback Thurman. As crazy as that sounds. But I actually think Vargas is now a bit past it recently. His last good performance was that Ali performance. I don't really think he's looked good since, to be honest. Listen, man, Manny Pacquiao, he's got more of a track record for taking tough fights than all of these guys. So I'm not doubting Manny Pacquiao, even at 40. Yeah, I agree, Lewis. I agree with that. Physically, I don't think he's the strongest And technically, Thurman to me is lacking. He's just a good athlete, pretty good reactions in his prime. He was fairly explosive. He could punch, good legs. But now I think he's on the decline, and I think he's beatable. Yeah, Jesse's at 154. I can't see it ending well. Yeah, that Broner, that Vargas Broner fight was a fight of two halves. When Broner actually started to get to work, Broner looked as good as I've seen him for quite some time, actually. And he had some good success with those body shots and on the inside. I enjoyed that Vargas Broner fight, to be honest. I thought that was a good fight. Oh yeah, Jesse Vargas versus Soto. Yeah, I've heard that as well. Soto recently beat Brandon Rios, but Rios looked washed. He looked shot to bits. Shepherd of Suns, Vargas was drained in that Broner fight. Yeah, Broner and his catch weights. Yeah, he done the same to Porter as well. I think Porter had to weigh in at 145 or 144. I felt it was a close fight, to be quite honest. I didn't have a problem with a draw. I felt if anybody really... I felt because Broner done the most damage, to be honest. And when he stepped through the gears, he was having a lot of success. It just took him a bit of time to actually warm up and start throwing his hands. Yeah, Vargas has had a few contentious decisions. Alec Berdiev was another fight. A lot of people felt Vargas lost. Also, Josecito Lopez against Vargas. That was another close fight. Yeah, Lopez has had his fair share of dodgy decisions, to say the least. Yeah, 144, yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed that Broner Vargas fight. That's the level Broner should be fighting at. When you put him at that level, I think he can be involved in some fun fights. But when you put him in there with an elite level fighter, he's just going to shell up, and he's not going to do anything. Just going to be defensive. He'll throw the odd right hand here and there, but that's all you're going to get. You need to match Broner with guys who are, at a certain level. And if you do, I think you can get some good fights. I like the idea of Broner versus Omar Figueroa. I think that's a good fight. MB, I thought Tevin Farmer looked drained at today's weigh-in. I think he's struggling to make 130. Yeah, maybe. Am I the only one who... I don't really rate Tevin Farmer. I think he's going to beat John O'Carroll. John O'Carroll, to me, is like a domestic fighter, and I felt he lost his last fight as well to Frenoir. But to me, Tevin Farmer, I don't think he's that great. I think Farmer, it's a lot of unnecessary movement. He's awkward, and he does have good, athleticism, but I don't think he's a great boxer. I think it's all reflexes. It's all herky-jerky movements, to be honest. I don't think Tevin Farmer is that great of a boxer. Yeah, I think Tank beats Tevin Farmer, to be honest. And I think Tank needs to prove a lot, but I think Tank he would beat Tevin Farmer. I'm sure of it. Yeah, Adrien Broner versus Chris Algieri. I'd watch that. Yeah, Tevin's got quick feet. His foot speed is up there, but I mean, what fight was it? The fight against the Japanese guy where he lost. It subsequently got changed to a no contest because of a drug test thing. I didn't really read too much into that, but the fight itself, a lot of people said it was controversial, but I felt, Farmer struggled in that fight. I felt he struggled with the steady pressure. I felt he got touched up quite a lot in that fight, to be honest. Yeah, Agawa, that was it. I felt Agawa, I wasn't mad that fight was scored to him, to be honest. I didn't see this robbery that people made out. I felt it was a close fight, could have gone either way, and Agawa got it. Agawa was being more aggressive, and yeah, he got the decision. Not a problem at all, from my mind anyway. Not a problem. Shepherd of Sons. Yeah, I agree, King Boot Show. I want to see Farmer in there with a top super featherweight. Whether that be Birchell or Davis, whoever it may be. I want to see him fight somebody. At the minute, he's beating up bloody Irish fighters. He's beaten James Tennyson, and he's going to beat John O'Carroll. They're domestic fighters. Nothing wrong with that, but they are what they are. They're not great. They're not great wins. Yeah, I didn't get that outroar over that Farmer decision, to be quite honest. Yeah, I felt, Farmer to me, he got touched up a lot in that fight, like I said. And Agawa's pressure was effective. He certainly maintained better punch technique, to be honest. Farmer, look at Farmer's punch technique. Some of it's horrible. Yeah, James Tennyson. Defensively, yeah, he's awful. I've seen. I mean, domestically, he's a banger. He can punch a bit, but that's it. He's limited as hell. No, Frenoir done a really good job of maintaining range against John O'Carroll. Just good basic boxing. I think Jono's a good domestic fighter, like I said, but he ain't that great, in my opinion. Yeah, there's something about Farmer's style I just don't like. I'll be honest. He's not one of my favourites. I don't like sitting down and watching his fights, to be honest. Some of his movement at times can look a bit, it looks a bit out there, but yeah, I'm not sold on Tevin Farmer at all. Fair play, he's turned his career around from basically being a journeyman at one point. Fair enough. I'm not saying he's a terrible fighter, but I don't see this special fighter. Yeah, I agree, Lewis. I felt John O'Carroll lost that fight against Frenoir. And he is very fortunate to get this fight. So, yeah, I mean, why are we not getting Frenoir versus Tevin Farmer? That'd be a much better fight than John O'Carroll. At least Frenoir is like European level. Yeah, John O'Carroll versus James Tennyson. I would watch that, domestic fight. Well matched. I'd watch it. But yeah, I'm hoping Tevin Farmer steps up next. And also on that card, you have Selecki versus Rosado. I think Selecki is going to win that fight. fairly comfortably. Hopefully, after that fight, they're talking about Selecki versus Andrade. I like that fight. I think Selecki gives Andrade a really tough fight. I do. Selecki gave Danny Jacobs a lot of problems. And that knockdown aside, it was a really close fight. Selecki's no mug. He's a good fighter. Farmer has more power than Gervonta Davis. Are you trolling? You've got to be trolling. Listen, Davis, Davis can punch, from what I can see. He's not knocked out anybody of any consequence yet. Well, he's knocked out Pedraza, but, how far Tank's power goes is unknown, but he certainly hits harder than Tevin Farmer. And he's another fighter I get sick of talking about, Tank Davis. I mean, how is he not built on that Pedraza win? It's just frustrating. Like, he beat Pedraza, a good win. He then defends his title against his mandatory challenger, Liam Walsh, in the UK. Now, Liam Walsh ain't a great fighter. He's not great. But at least he fought abroad to do it. Good luck. And at that point, you want to see Gervonta Davis push on and get big fights. But since that Liam Walsh fight, his career's gone nowhere. And it's frustrating, to be quite honest. Just Tank Davis, another fighter that's sitting there doing nothing. And when he does fight, he's fighting bloody bantamweights and featherweights. Carroll probably hits harder than Farmer. Maybe. I think Farmer probably hits harder, to be fair. Even with his open palm shots. Mr. Alvo, he says Taylor would beat Adrien Broner. Yeah, I agree. Josh Taylor, I think he'd just outbox Broner. Broner would shell up and do his usual thing. Yeah, Lewis Hurley, I agree, man. I mentioned it with Jamal Charlo. I mean, right now, what's he doing? What's he doing? I mean, he's sitting on the PBC side of things. He's not active. He's not getting the big fights. And, all of the other middleweights are on the zone. He needs to make a decision. He can't keep expecting, fights to come to him, talking about Canelo and Golovkin like they owe him something. No, I mean, Jamal Charlo needs to make a decision. And if he has ambition, he really needs to consider going to the zone. If he's as good as he says he is, sign a free fight deal, take all of the belts, and go back to Al Heyman if you're that good. But Jamal Charlo, I mean, he's content fighting once a year, fighting C-level guys. I mean, I mentioned it in my video about Charlo the other day. I mean, the last fight Charlo gave me that I cared about was his fight with Julian Williams, and that was December 2016. That's the last fight he gave me that I cared about. And people are expecting me to hold Charlo in this highlight. I mean, what's he done? He's done nothing at middleweight. He's fought Sebastian Hyland, who was injured. He fought Hugo Centeno, who wasn't even a middleweight. And he then fought Matt Korobov on a week's notice and struggled. And Matt Korobov, to this day, he's the only legit middleweight and healthy middleweight Charlo's fought, and he looked terrible. So I don't get why people are so high on Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo needs to go out there and make a statement. I'm not saying Jamal Charlo's terrible either. I think he can be a good fighter, but he needs to stop expecting Canelo just to come to him like Canelo owes him something. You know, it's frustrating. I mean, the only fight really there for Jamal Charlo right now is if, like, Jarrett Hurd moves up. And yeah, the PBC fighters in general, to me, you know, just far too inactive. And the way they're matched, yeah, it's not great. I'm not saying the PBC haven't put on any good fights. They have, but, you know, when you consider the talent they have they put on enough good matches on a consistent basis? Not for me. It's the same problem I have with Matchroom in the UK. You know, Matchroom have all of the resources. You know, they've got the biggest platform. They've arguably got the best stable. But are we getting these fights we want to see right now in the UK? No. And it's not like I hate on the PBC. No, I'm critical of Eddie Hearn. Like I'm critical of every promoter. It's just that the PBC in America have, you know, the biggest stable, and in the UK, Matchroom have like the most resources, so they are at a higher standard. But yeah, it is what it is. Taylor, Boazzi, and Gill, top UK prospects. I need to see more of Jordan Gill. I think he looks pretty good though. I wouldn't pay it, Dominic. I wouldn't pay $75 for Spence Garcia. From a UK perspective, I just can't fathom paying that much money, regardless of the fight. Like, it could be Spence versus Crawford, and I'd still be like, why am I paying this much money for a 36-minute event? I just can't fathom paying that much money for a pay-per-view. Just seems crazy to me. King Boot Show, rumours are that next Tuesday Wilder will refuse the DAZN offer. Yeah, I've seen that on social media. I mean, if that's true, let's say that offer was legitimate and he got a 100 million offer or whatever it was, and Joshua was included. I mean, Wilder's ducking at that point. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else you can say. You know, I mean, Wilder's just a fucking clown. And I mentioned it earlier in the stream. I think the issue is, I mean, the people who back Wilder, as in his fans, they hold him to such a low standard. He can say what he wants without any repercussions. You know, he can take on less than stellar opposition with no repercussions. He's not held to any standards whatsoever. Whereas with Joshua or Fury, when they say something, you know, it's examined under a microscope. Everything they say is analysed and, you know, taken apart. But, you know, they don't hold Wilder to that same standard. They don't hold Wilder accountable for ducking Vladimir Klitschko, for example. You know, when Wilder was the champion, his team said he wasn't going to fight Klitschko. It's too soon because he wasn't ready. You know, I mean, people don't hold Wilder accountable for that sort of thing because he's held at a lower standard. That's the way I see it. And yeah, Lewis, people are going to try and justify it. That's the thing. But you can't really do it. I mean, that's more money than Wilder's ever really seen. I mean, from what I read, the money that was offering for the Brazil fight was more money than he got for Fury. I mean, it's crazy. It's got to the point now, genuinely, where I don't feel sorry for Deontay Wilder, but I really do worry about the people around him. I think that those people around him are taking him for a right mug. I think he's being milked, to be quite honest. The people around him, I mean, I don't know. Like guys like Shelley Finkel, Lou DiBella, people like that. Yeah, I've heard that Shepherd of Sons, you know, despite, you know, Shelley Finkel being on record in saying they don't want that fight, you know, Vladimir ducked Wilder. You can't make it up. They literally make up stories, you know, these Wilder fans. And it's not just Wilder fans, don't get me wrong. Joshua fans are bad, Fury fans are bad, but my whole thing with Wilder is, like I said, I just feel he gets held to a lesser standard than the other heavyweights. Like Tyson Fury, for example. Now, I was pissed that rematch didn't happen, but when Tyson Fury took that ESPN deal, oh, it's a duck, this, that, and the other. You know, but when Wilder turns down this offer, I'm sure then it's going to be about business. It's going to be about, oh, he don't want to work with DAZN and Eddie Hearn, blah, 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 blah. There's always going to be an excuse with Wilder. Wilder could fight Areola in a rematch. They would watch it. They would accept it. And yeah, it's a joke. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing, Butchlo. Yeah, Wilder's being paid under the table. Yeah, okay. Are you his accountant? How do we know this? I mean, ridiculous. I think Wilder's been taken for a ride. You know, I really do. The people around him are crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I mean, the way some of these people talk, you'd think they're on the payroll and they're getting money from Wilder. Madness. And could you imagine, you know, a month or two ago, whenever they announced Miller as Joshua's opponent, you know, people were kind of negative about it. I mean, the way things are looking now, Joshua's fighting for best opponent. Because I would pick Miller to beat Brazil, and I would pick Miller to beat Revis. It's crazy. Absolute crazy. And don't get me wrong, Joshua isn't perfect by any means. He's not. But my whole thing with Joshua is he has been the most consistent out of all of the major heavyweights. Not saying he's always fighting top quality competition, but you know he's just the most consistent. Yeah, Miller. Listen, there are fights I'd rather see, but Miller. There's a couple of things that kind of intrigue me. What happens if Miller has like an elite level Oliver McCall chin and he's still there after a few rounds? You know, Miller's got good output. He's a fairly decent body puncher. What happens if Miller's, you know, starting to get on top of AJ in the second half of a fight? What happens? You know, Joshua doesn't really have the best gas tank. He has kind of tired in a few fights. If Miller's still there towards the end of a fight, it could be interesting. And because Miller's style, it is unique. It's fairly unique. You know, and yeah, I would be interested if to see what happens if he's in there, you know, in the championship rounds. To be honest, I'd be interested. Yeah, Lewis, I know what you mean. I think I'm similar because I think White is a more proven heavyweight right now than Jarrell Miller. I do, but we've already seen the White fight. We've seen Joshua knock White out. I want to see something different. Miller's got a unique style. Um, you know, he does things a bit different. I'd rather see that, to be honest, right now anyway. Maybe a White rematch in the future, yeah, maybe. But right now, I'm not really interested. I'd rather see White fight. I'd still love to see White fight Deontay Wilder. I think that'd be a great fight, but be a slugfest. It'd be a shootout. White's left hook versus Wilder's big right hand. It's a good fight. I think Wilder wins, but I think White has a good. He has a good shot. Yeah, Wilder fighting Areola. Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. To be fair to Wilder, it was after the Povetkin fallout, but it still wasn't great. I recall that actually because Areola all of a sudden appeared in the top 15 in the WBC or the top 10 from nowhere. Dominic Caesar, White deserves a title shot more than anybody in the division. You can make the argument, but at the same time, you know, he did turn down an eliminator against Pulev and also against Luis Ortiz. But yeah, he has done well in the past couple of years. Miller versus Joshua is like Lipinets versus Mikey, boxer puncher versus awkward kickboxer. Yeah, it's a good shout. This is a good shout. And yeah, Miller's style is just a bit unique as well. It's unique. He's got a super high output. But I think his style depends on him having a world-class chin at the elite level. In the UK King Boot Show, it's free. ITV4. So yeah, at least we're not paying for it. Oh, it's pay-per-view in Canada. Jesus. Yeah, Joshua should beat Miller. He should beat him. He's got the technical ability to make it a fairly simple fight, but to me, it's just how tough Miller is, how good's his chin. You know, can he make it to the second half of the fight? I'd still love to see Miller versus Kalnacki. That's a great fight. But those two guys are buddies, so they're not fighting. I don't think that's a good excuse not to fight, man. I mean, they're friends. They should be willing to fight. It's not like, if they was like, you know, related or something, fair enough. But if you can make 4 fights happen, what would they be? Dominic Cesar. Ooh. Bivol versus Kovalev is the first. Fury Joshua second. Spence Lomachenko. Sorry, no. Tank Davis Lomachenko, just because I want to see if it ends up the way I think it would end up. And maybe Spence Crawford. So yeah, yeah, Miller is slow, Michael Stock. He's slow. And he throws a lot of arm punches. And he looks open for, like I've said this a few times, but he's wide open for straight punches. He's wide open. It's just going to be interesting to see whether he can take Joshua's power. It's on ITV4, British Boxing Media. Kaunatsky versus Revis. Yep, good fight. I like it. Kaunatsky versus Andy Ruiz as well. That's another good fight. 2 fat guys beating the hell out of each other. Yeah, I want to see Tank Davis versus Lomachenko because just because of the reaction, to be honest. I think Lomachenko would comfortably beat Tank Davis. But yeah, I kind of want to see the reaction, to be honest. But in all honesty, I take that fight back. That's not really. I don't think it's that competitive. So Joshua Fury, Bivol Kovalev, Spence Crawford. What's the last fight we'll do? What's the last fight? I'm going to go back to the light heavyweight division. We're going to go Vodzik Beterbiev. Yeah. Tank Davis, yeah, he always talks trash about Lomachenko, but yeah, he's not willing to fight him. Yeah, they've got no interest in that fight right now. Until Lomachenko, looks shot or looks on the decline, they're not going to be interested in that fight. Do you think sorry, do you mean Luke Campbell, cop end? Do I think Luke Campbell can give Lomachenko problems? Maybe he could mess Lomachenko around for a bit, but not really. The thing is with Tank Davis, I think Bossman, yeah, if Tank if Lomachenko's stationary, then yeah, I'm sure Tank has a chance. But the thing is with Tank, I think his main problem will be his feet going, at elite level. Tank's feet are not that quick. He's got this thing where, like Broner, look at his back leg. Look at how he drags his back leg. I think Lomachenko will, be able to keep Davis off balance. He's going to box around him. Davis isn't going to be in a position where he can load up and time Lomachenko, in my opinion. I think Lomachenko plays with Gervonta Davis, to be honest. I think stylistically, I don't think it's a bad fight for Lomachenko. Just Tank's feet, to me, will be his problem in that fight. He's got that Broner dragging you back leg syndrome. Yeah, no, he's got faster feet than Broner, but his feet are still slow in comparison to Lomachenko. And like I said, he drags that back leg. I mean, Hugo Ruiz, blowing him out doesn't really tell us much. Jake Cleary, Tank beats Broner. I don't know about that. Broner's a lot bigger. A lot bigger. I don't think Tank does much beyond 135. Mr. Alvo, I heard Eddie saying Luke Campbell could fight Teofimo Lopez or Devin Haney. Both good fights. Yep, I like both fights. Both interesting because, Haney and Lopez are unproven. I think Tank could step onto the back foot and force Loma to come to him. I don't know, man. I just think it's a bad style matchup for Davis. I really do. And don't get me wrong, I actually think Davis is a really good talent. I think he's a good fighter. Gun to the head against all of the other super featherweights right now. Burchell, Cancio, Farmer. I would actually pick Gervonta Davis. I think he's a really good fighter. I just don't think Lomachenko's a good fight for him stylistically. What does the future hold for Hughie Fury? Ooh, I don't know, to be honest. I was mentioning it earlier. I think his ceiling is like European level. I don't think he's ever going to be a world champion. I don't think he's ever going to be like a top 10 contender. He's that type of fighter, in my opinion. No, I agree, boss man. Just make him fight, see what happens. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Del Boy, Lopez and Haney have sparred. No, not seen it. Not seen it. I saw the Lopez Ugas clip of them sparring. That was interesting. Hughie Fury versus David Price. I'd watch it. I don't know. I wouldn't know where you take Hughie Fury next. I think he's it's hard to match him. It's hard to match him. I mean, ideally, maybe the Dave Allen, Lucas Brown winner, but they're not going to fight Hughie Fury. Why would they? There's nothing in it. There's no reason for. There's literally no reason for anybody to fight Hughie Fury because, even if you win, you're going to look terrible. He's going to spoil. He's going to be defensive. He's going to hold. You're going to look terrible even if you win, and if you lose, I mean, yeah. Yeah, there's a video of Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney sparring, and it's still on YouTube. Yep, I've still not watched that. I've not watched it. I need to watch that. I think both guys are good prospects, but I think Shakur Stevenson is, he's got the highest ceiling. I think Shakur Stevenson's a good fighter. Yeah, I agree, Copend. I mean, there's no that's what it comes down to. There's just no money in fighting Hughie Fury. No money at all. Style isn't appealing. Despite his surname, he doesn't even have a big fan base. I mean, I wouldn't know what you do with Hughie Fury now, to be honest. Like you say, maybe you take him away from the TV, have him fight around Europe, like Prince Patel, like you say. Yeah, maybe. Dominic asks, are you liking the Smith versus Eggington card? I don't think the main event is that great. I don't think it's competitive. I think Smith should beat Eggington relatively easily. But the rest of the card is quite good. David Price, he's always fun, regardless. You've got Robbie Davis Jr. Versus Joe Hughes. That's a good fight. That's a really good fight, actually. And Anthony Fowler versus Anthony Fitzgerald. So yeah, the card itself is decent. The main event isn't great though, but yeah, the card's okay. It's fairly good. I think Anthony Fowler beats Fitzgerald though, but it's a good step up. Two prospects fighting each other. I like it. Do you see Andre Ward coming out of retirement in 2019 or 2020? Potentially. I mean, there is a reason why Bellew kept on talking about it. Andre Ward's team was in contact with Bellew, so it's maybe something he's considering for the right fight. I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, I'm not really expecting it, But yeah, it's a possibility. Shepherd of Sons, he's saying, God no, Ward stays retired, hopefully. John 99, I think Huey lacks the spite and the grit to compete at world level. Yeah, I agree, man. Huey Fury versus Marshmallow Wilder on the Fury Wilder 2 undercard. Yeah, let's get it. Funnily enough, the guy who knocked out Marcellus Wilder, he's fighting on the Garcia Spence undercard, believe it or not. I looked at it on BoxRec. It's hilarious. William Dietz, his name is. Knocked out Marcellus Wilder. Ward versus Wilder. Wilder knocks him out. If you're talking about Deontay, that is. Yeah, I'll be honest. I was never a big Ward guy. Stylistically, he's not my cup of tea. Just ugly fighter to watch. My ideal style, anyway. Like I think I've said it before, but I just like fighters who are technically sound, who actively pursue knockouts, and who are fairly aggressive. So yeah, I like guys like Kovalev, Golovkin, Errol Spence. People who are sound technically but go for a knockout. Oh, Dominic's picking Fitzgerald to beat Fowler. Okay. Interesting. See, I'm thinking. I think Fitzgerald. He's too small at that weight. Fowler's quite physically strong. I'm not sure on Fowler yet. When he first turned pro, I really wasn't keen. Didn't really rate him, but I'm not sure. Yeah, Cop End. A lot of people want Fowler to get beat. I'm not he doesn't come across well. And yeah, I would like to see Fitzgerald pull off an upset, but I just can't see it happening. I think Fowler's going to knock him out personally. Do you like Hank Lundy? Yeah, he's okay. He fights everybody. Bit of a character. Yeah, a lot of people dislike Fowler. On social media anyway. Copendo 9, you know much about Jermaine Franklin at heavyweight? I know who he is. I know he's recently signed with is it Salita or Ludabella? He's recently signed to one of the two. And yeah, I know of him. I've not seen too much. He looks okay. 16-0, I believe. Is he 16-0? 11 knockouts, something like that. But yeah, I know who he is. There's a couple of other US prospects I'm looking at as well. Stephen Shaw, Trey Lippe Morrison. Yeah, Copendo 9. The person I want to see get beat the most in boxing right now is Ryan Garcia. Anthony Fowler, born 10th of March 1991, is an English professional boxer who is actually on his wiki. That's amazing. Yeah, a lot of people don't like him. How do you think Froch versus De Gale would have panned out? I think Froch would have taken over down the stretch and either got a late stoppage or a points win. I think Froch is too strong, too tough. His engine is too good. And yeah, down the stretch, I just think James De Gale gets beaten up, to be honest. Yeah, I agree, Lewis Hurley. I'm in exactly the same boat. I want to see one of the main heavyweights get beat, shake things up a bit. Day JR Smile, do you think Tevin Farmer looks good tomorrow? I mentioned it earlier. I'm not a particularly big believer in Tevin Farmer. Don't really rate him that highly. But he should beat Carroll decisively, to be honest. Did you have Darrell beating Froch? I've not scored that fight for ages, to be honest. Did I have it a draw? Oh, I need to watch it back, mate. All I remember, it was a terrible fight. I remember Andre Darrell moving excessively, but he was I think I scored it a draw actually. I don't even remember, to be honest. I've not seen that fight since the time, since when it first happened. So it's been so long now. It must be nearly 10 years since that fight happened. It must have been 2009, I want to say, or was it 2010? What do you make of Lewis Ritson moving up in weight? I think it's good for him, to be honest. How well he does is anyone's guess, but in that last fight against Patera, I felt it was quite telling that Ritson was getting hurt to the body on numerous occasions. Maybe that was due to the weight cut. And he was a massive lightweight as well, Ritson. So moving up to light welter could be a good idea. Benavidez, Porky Love. We was mentioning when McGregor was on, we was talking about Benavidez's mum. Done an interview with Fight Hype. Proper MILF. Yeah, Ritson needs a new trainer. Otherwise, it's the same story. Yeah, defensively, Ritson is open as hell. And even offensively, he delivers his shots well. Technically, he throws his shots well. But it's the same thing over and over and over again. No variety, no feinting, lack of a jab at times. And he needs more variety in his offense, and obviously he needs to improve on his defense. Lewis Neri should win that fight, I think, Mr. Alvo. Arroyo's a tough guy, but he's come up short at the highest level so far. Anonymous boxer. According to the latest reports, Wilder's turned down, I think, 100 million. A deal from DAZN, which included a Joshua fight and a rematch. Those reports are not confirmed yet, by the way, but that's what's being talked about right now. And if that's true, I mean, to me that's a duck. If it's true, it could be false. I need to wait till it comes out. But if it's true, I don't really see how you can. I don't see how you can argue that's not a duck. If Wilder's turned down 100 million, 40 million. I think there's two Joshua fights, both worth 40 million each. That's crazy money. Because Wilder doesn't draw that type of money. So for him to be turning that down. I mean, it's a lot of money, isn't it? It's a lot of money. But was AJ offered 50 million for the fight and turned that down, including a rematch? Apparently. So at this stage, if you dog on AJ for turning down that money, which I did, by the way, it wasn't a good look. But if you criticise Joshua for turning down that money, then you've got to do the same for Wilder. Because Wilder's never seen that money before. And he's not going to see that money by fighting Brazil on Fox. Anyway, I'm just bored of talking about Wilder Joshua. They're going to fight or they won't. and history will judge them, whether it's Joshua in the wrong or Wilder in the wrong. It is what it is. I'm not particularly interested, to be honest. It's just hard to like stay interested in the heavyweight division right now. Fury's with ESPN. He's going to fight Revis next. Wilder's going to fight Brazil, and Joshua's going to fight Miller. You know, all of these fights, they're going to win. They're not really that interesting. I mean, the next few months in the heavyweight division, you know, it's going to be uneventful, to be honest. Let's hope we get one of these big fights towards the end of the year. Whether it's Wilder Fury 2 or Joshua Wilder, Joshua Fury, doesn't matter. Just get me, yeah, just get these fights made. Get these fights made. Yeah, I said that earlier, Lewis. I don't think it's a golden era for the heavyweight division. In 18 months' time, it could be a really good era when like Hrgovic, Jagba, you know, guys like that, once they develop, yeah, it could be really interesting then. But right now, there's basically 3 guys we care about. Because does anybody think White beats Joshua or Miller beats Joshua, Revis beats Fury, Brazil beats Wilder? No. We need these guys to fight each other. When's Jaron Ennis fighting again? No idea. I've not heard anything on that front for ages, to be honest. I think Jaron Ennis, he needs to be looking at guys like Josecito Lopez next. I think that would be a great step up, to be honest. Ideal, in my opinion. But, like, in an ideal world, you want to see Jaron Ennis fight guys like like Jaron Ennis, for example, versus Lejaraga or, you know, people like that. You want to see these undefeated guys fight each other to like earn a title shot. But no, we're not going to get that, are we? Or yeah, Rashidi Ellis versus Jaron Ennis, you know, something like that. Yeah, MB, that's the way I see it. It's like the early days of it. I mean, you know, you've got 3 guys right at the top now. You know, Joshua, Fury, and Wilder. But the next batch of prospects coming through are going to make the division very strong in 12, 18 months' time. You know, Tony Yoka, F.A. Ajagba, Hrgovic, Makhmudov. You know, there's a lot of prospects coming through right now that are looking good. Evgeny Ramanov. You know, there's a lot of guys coming up right now that look interesting. Dubois, Gorman. You know, all of these guys that are coming up. And yeah, I think in 18 months' time, it's going to be interesting. Teslenko's another one. Teslenko is fighting Ian Lewison next, by the way. I thought that was interesting. Haha, nothing Boxing Squared. Nothing yet. It's been an uneventful year so far on that front. We need to up our game, man. It was like this last year though. Like start of last year was pretty poor, and it kind of just ramped up. But yeah, we need to put in a bit more work. Yeah, the UK amateurs right now, you know, it's not looking particularly good. Not looking that great. In the UK, I can kind of see a barren spell coming up. I really can. I mean, there's not too many prospects out there from the UK that are like that really kind of get your blood pumping, and you think they're going to go a long way. Or, I mean, look at like Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan. Those countries are doing very well in the amateurs right now. And, those guys are going to turn pro soon. They're starting to turn pro now. There's some great fighters coming from that part of the world right now. That's a hotbed of talent. It really is. Yeah, Joe Ward. I'm not sure what's happening with Joe Ward out of Ireland. I'm not sure. But I like the guys coming out of like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan. They're doing something right over there, whatever it is. And it just looks like it's going to be a steady conveyor belt of fighters coming from that part of the world. Okay. Yeah, I've heard a lot about Peter McGrail. Heard a lot. Right now, in the UK, at a pro level, who is the best prospect in the UK? Who would you guys say? Like me personally, I'm looking at Boatsi. He's the only one that kind of strikes me as, a guy who can go all the way. And I know it probably sounds casual because he's a matchroom fighter, but I have been impressed with Boatsi. Yeah, after Tokyo 2020, yeah, quite a few will turn over. That's true. Besides failing to adopt a pro style, what reasons do you think a few top level amateurs fail to become world level pros? I think sometimes you see a lot of amateurs. Obviously, sometimes they just don't take to the pro style, like you say. But sometimes you'll see world class amateurs turn pro too late. So, you know, Paddy Barnes from Ireland, he's a good example. He was a good amateur, but he turned pro in his early 30s, when he's like a super flyweight, a flyweight, whatever he is. Um, yeah, I mean, there's numerous reasons why top amateurs don't always make good pros. Some are not used, or some don't like the 12-round format. Some don't punch hard enough. Some are too chinny. There's loads of reasons. It's like Ivan Dichko. I don't think he's going to be a good pro at heavyweight. He can box a bit, but I just don't think he's tough enough. I don't think he's strong enough. I don't think he's durable enough. I think he fences too much with his jab. I think Ivan Dichko is a good example of that. I just don't think he's going to make a good pro. Shah Islam, Conor Benn is the best prospect. I know you're trolling. Yeah, Shepherd of Sons says Boatsi. Yeah. Yeah, Boatsi looks he looks like a good prospect. He's got a nice style to watch as well. Yeah, those Caucasians from the stands need to trade their tongue twister names for something more palatable. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, that part of the world right now, in the amateurs, they're churning out some great fighters. I mean, they're winning medals in every single tournament they're in. They're doing something right out there. Ukraine as well had their moment, when they had that great amateur team in 2012. Yeah, Sky must have been gutted. Yeah, they hyped the likes of Ritson and Cheeseman only for them to get beaten up at European level. I was never that sold on Cheeseman, I'll be honest. But I felt Ritson could have beaten Patera. I felt Ritson, he had enough to win that fight, but didn't work out. But the guy who beat Cheeseman, Sergio Garcia, he looks quite useful. I think Sergio Garcia gives Munguia a really tough fight, actually. Yeah, Jordan Gill, pretty decent. Okay, MB says Ritson will get a shot at the Robbie Davis, Joe Hughes winner. So he gets a second shot. Yeah, that's a good fight, though. I'd take that. Yeah, Jordan Gill versus Ryan Walsh. That's been ordered by the British Boxing Board of Control. Whether it happens or not, I don't know, but it's a good fight. Bossman likes Jack Catterall. Yeah, I think he's a sound fighter. Yeah, the takeover from the East has begun. I remember talking about that in like 2012, 2013. And people back then were like kind of dismissive of it. But, as the years go on, there's more and more world-class pros, from that part of the world. These guys they're seeing guys like Golovkin have success. The Klitschko's before that. And they know they can make a lot of money in the pros now. There is a market to see these guys fight. And yeah, they're going to take inspiration from the likes of Golovkin and the Klitschko's. And we're going to see a lot of these guys turn pro. I mean, if you're from Kazakhstan, I mean, you've got to hold, you've got to be inspired by Golovkin. Yeah, Cop End, that O'Hara Davis fight was terrible. I was really looking forward to that fight at the time as well. I felt it was a good fight. Oh, Dominic, Sam Bowen. I like Sam Bowen. I do. Big for the weight. Technically delivers his shots very well. Good body puncher. Decent power. Yeah, I like Sam Bowen. I think he could be one of the dark horses in the UK. That's a good shout. I like Sam Bowen, yeah. Glad you mentioned him, actually. I think he's a good prospect. Hopefully Frank Warren keeps him active and steps him up after this fight he has next. His next fight isn't of much quality, but after that I'm hoping to see him step up. But yeah, I like Sam Bowen a lot. And Archie Sharp, I've not really seen too much of him. I need to check him out. Yeah, Vladimir and Vitali kind of started the wave. Obviously, you had Vasily Girov as well. Those guys were kind of the first wave, if you will. But yeah. I like Andrew Selby. I think he's a good fighter. That win against Christopher Rosales looks pretty good right now. The Byfeld-Cheeseman rematch has to happen next, surely. Well, the British Boxing Board of Control have ordered Cheeseman versus Fowler, from what I've seen. That's a good fight. But yeah, and yeah, Andrew Selby, good fighter. I think he's fighting a world title eliminator next for the WBC. I'm sure I've read that somewhere. Yeah, the Rosales fight was close, Shepherd of Sons. We mentioned that the other day on the stream, and yeah, the scorecards were a disgrace on that fight. I felt you could argue Selby won it. I felt it was close, personally. But yeah, the cards were a joke. Yeah, I like that fight, Levi Khan. Byfeld versus Fitzgerald. Both guys coming off losses. Yeah. Yeah, Levi Khan, he reckons Rosales beat Selby as well. I felt it was close. John 99, have you? Yeah, I've met a few. Never had any bad experiences. But weirdly, I think I've mentioned this before, but the nicest fighter I've met was actually James DeGale. He seemed like proper down to earth. What round does Rosado stop Selecki? I think it's no. I think Selecki out. I think Selecki beats Rosado comfortably. I think Selecki's very good. I can't see Rosado doing it. I just can't see it. Although I felt Rosado won his last fight though against Arias. Yeah, I'm picking Selecki. Am I the only one who rates Selecki? I think he's good. Oh, that's a good question. What's more likely, Love over Benavides or Carol over Farmer? Ooh, maybe Carol over Farmer. Yeah, I'm taking Augustine over Areola, just because I think Areola's shot to bits. Shah Islam, he says the nicest fighter I met was Hay and AJ. Biggest prick was Chisora. Yeah, Chisora just it kind of seems like whatever side he gets out of bed, depends on his mood. Yeah, Cop End. Rosado fought Arias last time out, and it was a draw. I felt Rosado won. Yeah, Selecki gave Jacobs all he could handle. And that knockdown aside, that fight was really, really close in my opinion. Oh, is he that bad, Levi? But Curtis Harper's awful as well. And look, and Curtis Harper gave Areola the business, to be honest. Yeah, I think Selecki outpoints Rosado as well. Yeah, Arias comes across as a fucking knobhead, to be honest. Dominic Cesar, do I watch any other sports? Yeah, I watch football casually. I'm a casual football fan, or soccer, as the guys in the States call it. But apart from that, yeah, I mainly only watch boxing. I watch a tiny bit of MMA, a really tiny bit, but yeah, mainly boxing. Oh, Lewis Hurley, that's a great fight. Selecki versus Derevinchenko. Oh, damn, that's a tough fight to call. I think so anyway. They're two of the most underrated guys in that division. Oh, I think I would edge Derevinchenko just about. Not it wouldn't be a confident pick. Yeah, MMA, Johnny boy. I've given MMA a chance. I've watched it a few times, but I just I just don't get that same enjoyment out of it that I do boxing. I like it when they're striking. I just don't like it when it hits the ground. I like ground and pound, but like when it's wrestling, when it's that sort of thing, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Why is Saunders still fighting Shefat Isafi when the WBO belt is not on the line? Yeah, I don't understand it, man. It's a terrible fight. What I think they're trying to do, I think they'll try and make that a final eliminator because Isafi is number one in the rankings, and Saunders is number two. So I think what they'll do, they'll try and have that as an eliminator, and if Ramirez does vacate, Saunders will then become champion. Maybe I don't know, but it's terrible. Yeah, Derevinchenko versus Selecki, absolute banger. Tommy Coyle or Chris Algieri? I'm going to go with Algieri. Yep, Derevinchenko versus Golovkin. I'd watch it. Great fight. Is Derevinchenko with Lou DiBella by any chance? Because if that's the case, why don't Jamal Charlo fight him? Jamal Charlo sitting there doing nothing. Why not fight Derevinchenko? Get it on. Just he needs to fight somebody, man. Yeah, I mean that if he's with DiBella, then he can easily fight Charlo. But that's not. We know that's not going to happen. But that'd be a great fight. I mean, Charlo just needs to do something. I mentioned it earlier. Yep. Yeah, Charlo. Yeah, he just needs to do something to get us interested. Because if Charlo fought Derevinchenko, I'm on board. I'm happy. Give me that fight. But we're going to get Charlo versus some absolute cab driver, more than likely. Yeah, he does. Yeah, DiBella does do a lot of small shows in New York. Yeah. Yeah, DiBella is basically Heyman's puppet though now, isn't he? Like he's not really a major promoter, so to say. But Ray Oliveira Jr. making his comeback this year. He could take over 147 or 154. I need to check him out. Yeah, Lewis, that's what I think we're going to get. I think we're going to get something like Jamal Charlo versus William Monroe. I mean, does anybody out there care about that fight? I mean, it's not for me. It's not for me. I don't get how people can invest so much time into a fighter like Jamal Charlo. I mean, he's not given us any good fights in recent years. The last good fight he gave us was, like I said, Julian Williams. That was back in 2016. December 2016. We're March 2019 now. What's this guy done in the past 2 and a bit years? Yeah, a Korobov rematch. I'd like to see it because I felt that fight was very close. The scorecards on that fight were fucking scandalous. And the Fox commentary as well that night was terrible. Fox gave Korobov no credit whatsoever in that fight, and also the same with Tony Harrison. They gave him no credit whatsoever. They're so biased, and it was the same on the Porter fight as well. You know, they was giving Porter all of the credit in the world for doing nothing. They favour the A side so badly on Fox. But yeah, I don't like Fox at all, from what I've heard. I've seen a couple of we get the UK commentary, so yeah, when these fights are in the UK on ITV, we get the Fox commentary, and yeah, they're a disgrace. We had the Fox commentary for was it Thurman Lopez maybe? Yeah, I think it was Thurman Lopez. Just terrible. Yeah, ESPN and DAZN are making moves. DAZN are starting to slowly put on the good fights now. I mean, you've got Estrada Rungvisai 2. That's a great fight. You've got Dehaney versus Roman on that card as well. That's a unification fight. Great card. You've got Jacobs Canelo. You've got Joshua on there. You've got Golovkin on there. You've got Usyk on there. Yeah, DAZN are starting to, develop now, and they're starting to take shape. And yeah, and ESPN as well. You know, they've got Fury. It looks like they're signing Dillian White. They're throwing some money around. Yeah, I saw that cop end. Fowler versus Cheeseman. I'd watch it. Yeah, Estrada Rungvisai too. To be fair though, it's a good fight to be watching with your hangover. No problem, Chase Athletics. Been going for ages. Jesus Christ. What's up, Abstract? How you doing? Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. DAZN have a lot of top fighters already. They've got all of the belts at middleweight. You know, they've got the Premier Heavyweight. They've got the Premier Cruiserweight. You know, they're doing some good stuff right now. Yeah, it looks like Heyman is aligning himself to Fox now. Shepherd of Sons. Whatever happened to big sexy Sean Turner? Christ knows, man. Last I saw, he got a pasting off Filip Hrgovic and Nathan Gorman. Yeah, exactly. Showtime, I've got Clarissa Shields versus fucking Christian Hammer. Who cares about that, really? I mean, most people don't care about women's boxing, from what I've heard. Everyone I speak to in real life, nobody cares. Nobody cares, man. I mean, so like, I will watch pay-per-view cards with my friends. We'll get some beers in. We'll have a good time. But when there's a women's fight on, everyone gets pissed. Like, everyone's like, oh, shit, what are we going to do for half an hour? Do you know what I mean? It's rubbish. Absolute crap. It's not for me. I'm sorry. They can do what if they want to fight, fair enough, but I just don't want to see it. Yeah, Abstract, I agree. I like Benavides. He should smash Jay Leon Love up. Do you think, Levi, Dave Allen against Lucas Brown? I wouldn't put any money on Dave Allen, to be honest. Despite how shot Lucas Brown is. AA Boxing and Blunts is backing Brown. I mean, I was backing Lucas Brown for a long time, but, you know, looking at that Sokolovsky fight, it really put me off. Really put me off. Copendo 9, what do you think of Chris Congo? Yeah, he's not getting many TV dates at all. He's not really fighting that much. He's big for the weight. He's tall and lanky. He seems awkward, seems to carry a bit of power. He's an interesting prospect, but, you know, it's hard to tell right now. Needs to be more active. Yeah, it depends if he has PEDs. Lucas Brown, yeah. Jesus. Levi, man, I'm out. I would never put any money on Dave Allen or Lucas Brown. I just can't trust either one of them. I think Lucas is shot, but Dave Allen, I mean, he ain't great. Sebastian Eubank, yeah, he's back out this weekend. Yeah, abstract, I agree. Lucas Brown against Shagayev actually used a jab. You know, he tried to box a bit. He looked strong, but against White, he looked terrible. He looked so bad. I know Shagayev was shot when Brown fought him, but, you know, it was still clearly a different Brown. You know, Brown was using his legs a bit, you know, using his size. I think Chizora's going to beat Gashi, to be honest, man. Yeah, exactly. The Quags. When women's boxing is on, listen, it's a good time to, like, take a piss, get some more beers, do something else for half an hour. To be honest, I'm not a fan. And no matter how many fights they show, I'll never be a fan. It's just not for me. I think women's boxing is just being forced on us, to be honest. I think it's a cheap way for promoters to fill cards. You know, if you put a woman's fight on the card, you know, you're going to pay them. I'm sure they get paid less than the male fighters. So, yeah, cheap way to fill cards. Promoters get like a bloody PR tick because they showed a woman's fight. But yeah, I'm not a fan. Yeah, exactly. Boxing Brains has Areola by knockout this weekend. Oh man, Areola. Bruh. At one point, he was supposed to be a tough challenge for Vitaly Klitschko years ago. Look how that turned out. Jesus. Can't believe Areola's still fighting. Right, lads, I'm going to call it a night. I've got to get up early tomorrow, unfortunately. Yeah, we're gonna call it a night. Thank you for everyone who turned out. I may do another one tomorrow night. But yeah, thank you guys very much. Peace.